With On the Rail super chat. Got to get to it. Appreciate you. We've already talked about Lily a lot. You're asking if it's a good buy. Seems like a nice 10% upside in the next week or two. The only new thing I will say about Eli Lilly, I've already ranted about what I think about the quarter relative to in the comparisons, the oral versus what I think unfair comparisons between their oral drug and the injectable with Novo. Not fair. It was a small miss. Everything else was a beat. I want to be a buyer of the stock. I'm going to give it some time. But on a monthly chart, it is breaking down on this monthly. I think for me, it's an auto buy if it gets underneath $600 into the 550 range. Otherwise, I'm going to give it a day or two to make a low. Kind of like what we saw with Amazon. I know I want it, but where's my daily charts behind here? I know I want it, but I just wanted to see it hold. And once it confirmed that it was holding the 200 period, then we go in when it shows me that double bottom bounce. That's what I'm going to wait for, or 550 auto buy, or in front of 550, probably like 569 and 42 would be a nice fun price. So let's get back to it. We got the professor, we got Joey options. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, everybody. Good luck if you're taking those IPOs. I don't think I will be, but good luck on Firefly if you do. Go get them.
Oh. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options. And we already have a bunch of people in the chat. Super quick. Rob Van Dam, I love that. Shout out to Other Zinc. We got Clutch One, we got Blackhawk and BD Gaming. Shout out to Shamar Challenger, Adam Deluce, aka All Class Adam. We got Don Sharifo. You're a new one. I guess I haven't seen you before. Bob the Builder. We got Brown Lightning. Big 4-0 Nephew. Katina Man. Brandon Franklin. Shout out to Anish and Rivian Millionaire. The OG Gorev and Frugal Nation. That would be me. Quite frugal. Just Play. We got Akko. We got Dude V5. Shout out to Yannick. Rocket Trader 001. Ed Miller and Secker. Raj, we got Clutch One. Get it, Katina Man. We got Notorious Dinkelberg. Shout out, who else, man? Let's go. Throw your names in there. Love, Happiness, something SSLA. We got Farm Hamza, Parabolic FOMO, Maximus 1138, and Bruno Pinho. My Crime Channel. Adara would watch that channel. Walt Country Club. Elias Neymar. Neymar, are you from Brazil? So shout out to the Neymar who scored a brace yesterday or the day before. Shout out to the OG Neymar. Good morning, Joseph.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I hope everyone's having a solid trading session. You've seen what Katina Man and Neil were up to today. It's been a tricky one for me, but that's all right. We have the ability to navigate and stay cool, straightforward. It's always good having someone beside you who's like, calm down, you know what I mean? Relax. So, that's what it is.
I've seen it all before.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll break this down. I don't want to, I was going to say I don't want to show this just yet, but we'll display what we got going on.
Got it.
So, 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3, and then now we're going really heavy right here. We were super heavy right there. So let's see if we can get this move back towards the volume-weighted average price. But that's not how I started my day out. This is going to be IONQ reporting earnings. Boom, we play this ABCD pattern. You break through VWAP out super late. This was the entry that you want at the break of the VWAP, and you open up above it, boom, 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 and then I do get stopped out a little of my position right there. So that was our first one. We were nicely in the money, and then watch this chaos that ensued here on NVDA. So frustrating because it would have been super monstrous on our behalf. So anyways, I get in here. I DCA'd because we had a VPA signal. I wasn't patient enough. And then eventually it just blew me out, and I was heavy sized there. I'm like, okay, that was just a liquidity grab before we move lower. And then essentially what happened is I get in and I go to punch, I'm punching. It's not filling. So at this point, I'm really frustrated. And then sure enough, boom, I take a little bit off. And then I'm looking for the add below the volume weighted average price. We get this pullback indecision. I add, and then it stops me out break even. I'm like, all right, this is what we're doing today. I get right back in, boom, 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 stops me out, and then it makes that additional leg lower. My primary target on NVDL was 91, and we got 10 cents away from that. So it's unfortunate that that didn't work out for us because it would have been monstrous, but that's okay. We'll figure something out. And you got to recognize, like for me, I'll tell you guys, If a couple of more trades don't work out for me, I'm just gonna hop in the sim and just relax. I have plenty of risk, but it's just about reserving your month as well too,
and
right?
Mental,
you don't want,
man.
Yeah, exactly, and the mental capital. And right now it's being expended, so emotional damage for sure has been ensued on today's session. But at the end of the day, I think we'll be all right if Ethereum decides that it wants to get rolling, the market stops selling. It's not selling as aggressively. So if we get any sort of bid step back in, I think we'll be all right. This was my largest position of the day, aside from NVDL, the first one. And then sure enough, I'm just looking to build in. So if I get a nice, cool curl over and we have the ability to snap this downtrend, one thing to note on these 1 minute time frames, we're consistently forming those lower highs. So now we're micromanaging this, and you have to keep an eye out on that because it can tell you a lot. That's the reason why I monitor the 1 minute. You live and die by it at the end of the day, right? So right now we're dying by it, but we're trying to super live on this because I think we can get back to VWAP. Otherwise, the underlying asset's just super weak. If it comes anywhere close to this area of my entry, I'm just gonna hop right back out of the trade and then super sit on my hands to see if anything sets up. If not, sim later. That's it. That's as simple as it is. Not every day is going to be your day as a trader, and there's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with just hopping in the sim on some days. And I think that's what key traders really, really learn is just like, hey, my setups that usually work on attempt 1, 2, or 3 aren't working today. I'm shutting it down. Guess what? The market's going to be back bright and early tomorrow, and you reserved a bunch of your capital. You saved all that money from the month, and that's how you just grow that steady sloping equity curve that we look to gain there, Shu.
Joseph,
Yes,
I was
sir.
just informed by our very good friend Neil
Yes, sir.
that the IPO Fly, FLY, has a sell imbalance. You and I were just looking at the tap, the theoretical auction price. So, Assassino, if I can, it's a Chilean nightmare, my bad. Fabian, if I can show the screen right there on the where I'm flashing that, it says tap, $63. What does that mean? Theoretical auction price. We know that the IPO price is going to be $43. So this is the theoretical auction price that pairs buy and sell orders prior to the open of the IPO, but that's only one data point. The other data point is to see whether there's a buy order or a sell order imbalance using an imbalance locator, which we have access to using here P8. Thank you, Fabian. Excellent, man. Always killing it with that. So that's what I'm talking about right there, guys. When you see that TAP, that stands for theoretical auction price. That's what I was talking about. But I'm definitely going to have to monitor the other data point, which is the order imbalances. So as soon as Joey starts spitting hot lines again, I'm going to load it up because I don't typically use it because I don't trade the open and I don't trade the close, right? And that's typically what it's used for. So we're going to keep tabs on that and we'll report to you guys. But needless to say, the Katina Man and the Neil are not taking the IPO today. So we're going to see how this this price, this tap, the order imbalance develops as we get closer to the IPO launch. Now, we never really know when the hell this is going to launch. It's typically sometime during Joseph and I's show on the midday.
Yes, sir.
But we don't really know exactly when. So we're going to keep tabs on that, and we'll keep you guys apprised. Now, here's the deal. I'm in one trade. I'm 1 penny out of the money. I'm punching in at highs with a view to adding at the volume weighted average price. So I'm in SNGX. I got to tell you guys, I've been saying this a lot, but I think that I've been accurate. The pickings are slim again in small cap gapper world. You have some nice movers, no triple digit winners. And what I have observed lately is the pullbacks are not being bought up with the same vigor that they had been in July and June. Some are getting, picked up off key levels, but a lot of them are fading. So if you were, if your accuracy was like, say, 70% buying off VWAP for stocks that were trading above it, I don't know. I don't have the data, but it does feel like that is a less accurate trade now than it had been in the prior months. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind when trading these ones. It should affect your aggression, your positioning, as well as your stop out orders, as well as your profit takers, because if we don't have that continuity, because we're not getting bought up off key levels, we're also not going to have it to the high side. We're not going to get parabolic as often with as many stocks. Keep that in the back of your mind and adjust your trading strategy accordingly. So that's what my suggestion is anyway in SNGX at the moment. I'm also looking at working into my other friend here, which is a holdover from yesterday, LHAI. It's up about 19 2/3%. Nothing really to write home about, but I am looking here to pick this up off the 10 EMA on the 5. It's quite spready. And it's already kind of bamboozling me. As you can see there, it shows 93 on the bid, 87 on the ask, which obviously doesn't make any sense. The higher number has to be on the ask as opposed to the bid. So then in these cases, or in this case, you look to the level 1 when you're getting anomalies like this. And what I'm seeing is 82 and 87. So currently a 5-penny spread, which isn't bad. But given the volume that it's done on the day, which is sub 1 million, and given the volume profile, which is declining, I should be careful trading this one, okay? Now let's talk about another one over here, quadruple C. Is this on the NQ? There we go. This one feels like it's making higher highs and higher lows off that 10 EMA. I'm punching into this one over here with a 1-penny spread. Anything below, I want to say area low at 234, I get out. Simple as that. So we'll give it to 32, and then we'll give it a little bit of room. Let's set up some beak wetters. We'll get in, yeah, there we go. And we'll set up some there every little bit. So giving this a try. We're going to try with smaller size. As I mentioned, guys, it feels like the better days for these small cap gappers, a little bit behind it at the moment. Maybe we're just taking a bit of a pause until we get some rate cuts, because I know that would be quite stimulative for these small cap gappers. So here's what I'm seeing before we send it back to Joey. I'm going to bring in the trusty 8 on the side. As you saw there, I punched into quadruple C. That's at the top left of your screen. Also LAWR, LAWR. It's got a good looking chart pattern there with a lot of support on the 10 EMA. It's up 26 1/5%. LHAI, I already talked about. I'm looking at getting in at the 10 EMA, but this one is a bit slow. SLDP is losing VWAP. It looked like a nice possible bull flag. This is kind of case in point of what I'm talking about. When you get a nice little move, you're not finding support at the volume weighted average price as often as we had in the past. EBS, not bad. Up 25%, 24.5%. I'm interested in VWAP on this one at around 740. It's finding some support right now at 750. We'll see if it holds that 50-penny level or if it has a bit of a deeper retracement into the WAP. I'm talking also JMIA, excuse me. This one might lose its spot onto the side chart anytime now because it's trading south of VWAP, but it's up 26.8%. And that's it, really, Joey. I mean, it's just the pickings are slim, but we're going to do what we can and with what we can. So we'll try to trade these as best as possible. And if I mentioned a stock here, or sorry, if you guys are looking at stock that I didn't mention, which I'm sure there are, get into the chat right now. Throw in that $, followed by whatever ticker your heart so chooses. If it's Softy, if it's Apple, if it's Pan Crap, Pan W. All right, I'm bitter. No, I added to that bad boy yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Anyway, so go in, get into the chat right now, and vote for your favorite tickers so we do have an accurate representation of what you guys want to talk about, Joey, on the afternoon rundown.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's break down what I'm seeing here on Ethereum. I got out. Like, this is just too choppy considering my size. It's like, okay, you break through, and then you just keep moving. I mean, it could continue to grind higher, but the market looks like it wants to continue that southeast trajectory. So for me personally, it's either going to work relatively quick or you're just going to be like, oh, and that's not what we want to do here, right? So we're still red on the day. We got plenty of risk, but I just mentioned like sometimes you just got to shut it down and just realize when it's not your day. But anyways, let's get back into my thoughts here on Ethereum. I don't know why I don't want the market cap. So 3,946, we're going to call this a key resistance zone in this specific asset. Are we going to make that move higher? Yeah, we want this to close relatively strong. So that the fact that we're not continuously tanking is positive, considering that in the after hours we've seen it starting to move higher and higher. I'm out of it. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to get back in. I just did like my positioning at the lows, but just sitting through that was just a little bit too much. So I'm like, all right, let's just hop out of that today. So there it is, $3,946 is going to be a key resistance zone. If we can breach and hold this, then we'll be all right. I'm still swinging ETHA from 2670. ETHA is my average price, so we're down, or sorry, 2770. So we're right around here. So we're positioned okay, just looking for the break of this high. And then I think we can head into that 31, and that's kind of the objective of the trade that we got going on. The SPY is significantly more weak than the Qs are, so just keep that in mind as well, too, guys. We'll take a look at that one here. So SPY continuously selling. The Qs holding up pretty good, even though we are south of VWAP. There's Ether right there, just keeping it doing basic TA. We are sitting on the backside of this downslope on the 2 minute time frame that I was looking at. But you can see that we push higher, run into this resistance zone, and then it rejects. And then when the market takes a leg lower, you can see the selling pressure step right back in. So let's see if we're just going to consolidate. Bitcoin is still hovering above VWAP, so that's a positive sign as well, too. I was looking at Draftkings this morning for a potential setup, but nothing arrived that for my liking anyway, so we'll just keep that one on the sideline. And then as for the quantum space, there it is, IONQ looking pretty good, and that's when we get the continuation to the trend here on that ABCD pattern. But at the end of the day, it holds VWAP and goes again. So sometimes it's good to just stick to your guns and stick to that one stock that's worked one time for you and just continuously hit that trade. Even if you go 1 for 2, chances are that your next trade is going to be a pretty good one, so you can go 2 for 3 on that one. But here it is. This is why we got out. The longer the consolidation, the longer I feel, the less likely I feel that it's going to break. We also want to see that volume start to pick up. So you can see on that lower interval that it's really, really outweighing what we're seeing from a buying standpoint. So that's really important. If it's not more aggressive, then the chances of it breaking out, and this is what I was referring to yesterday as well, is like if you're trying to play breakouts but the volume isn't supporting it, chances are you might just get wicked out and then it moves back in the opposite direction in what you were looking for. So volume, 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 and Sharif, guess what? Volume.
Oh, I wasn't going to be able to guess that. I mean,
that was a tough one.
That third one, though, Joey.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
You stifled me on that one. BRLT says Mr. Butter 10. I'm going to talk about the one I got in right now, but we're just going to check on BRLT for Mr. Butter. It's below VWAP, brother. It looked like it had a good morning. It's still up 36%, but it's lost the volume-weighted average price. It really needs to be above that price, or that level, excuse me. When it's above VWAP, it, at least to me, signals that the buyers are in control as opposed to the sellers. That's one thing that I really look for. But I want to talk about this one right now, Joey. CREG, thank you, Urban Trader, as well as another person for pointing this one out. I didn't have eyes on it. It looks like this one was trading after the bell yesterday. We've already aggressively scalped into 20, wet the beak into 30. The only unfilled order goes into 32. So we've taken some nice out there on the move up. I still have an order down here, as you can see, to dollar cost average into what I perceive to be the 10 EMA on the 5. We'll see if it comes into that level, and if it does it hold up? So that's currently I'm in at 20. Now, the reason I got in 20, to me, 20 was a resistance level initially, so I looked for it to be support. Why? Why do I see that? Here, Assassino, this is what happened over here. Hey, oh, I didn't know you were behind me.
No, first of all, I'm going to get it on the train. I have to have my
You're good, you're good, you're good.
Wow.
What's the deal? Oh, but you got some chicken there.
It's not that boring, man.
Some potatoes there. It's very healthy, Neil. I mean, you know that. No. He says he was talking.
I was talking to an algo guy, and we're like, the problem is this is so similar to what you just do at home. You just plain chicken, some potatoes, and some salad.
We'll take it.
Like, that's my least favorite thing.
But boring is good, Neil.
It's
Equals gains, baby.
I'm not like you. I don't work out twice.
I don't believe that. This guy's a track star.
Yeah,
Don't
look at
listen
this
to
guy.
it.
No, I don't work out
build,
twice
man.
a day, every single day. You had a conversation about like rest periods for working out. I do those all the time, bro. Like I'll take a week off.
That's okay. I don't take a week off, but like, you know, I'll take
a week.
I'll do a week off every now and then.
Yeah, well.
Yes, 100%.
Damn.
100%.
All right.
I'm 45 years old.
Age is just. Oh, I was gonna say. I was gonna say. You can't really say that now anymore, I guess.
Yeah, I'm old AF, man. What's that, Ram?
Yeah.
Get a mic.
There you go. Ram says age is just a number, but jail is just a room.
Oh.
So yeah, thank you.
I don't know what that means, though. Like,
Pardon
what
me?
is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't.
I'm naive, man. Leave me alone, man. It's part of my charm.
Who does AMD think they are?
I don't know.
At the end of the day, Sharif.
Well, you know what? If you want to know
Your
what AMD is, you
duplication.
should probably watch that short by Ram yesterday. That's one of the hottest shorts around. You see that?
Ooh, no, I didn't.
See
Let's
that
pull it
short?
up
Yeah.
there.
Well, why
Let's
don't
pull
you advertise it with the same vigor
Am
you
I-
were advertising
hold
that
on.
VWAP video?
Am I in it?
Yeah. No, you're not.
Oh, so then I can't.
Well, you and I actually, I think Neil, Brendan, and myself. No, but I really liked it. Obviously, it's Lisa
see.
Sue. Lisa's talking about chips.
Oh, here it is. All right, guys, go tune in here.
There you go.
Make sure you guys go watch our shorts. We'll
It's a
play
Ram
this
Ram
one.
special.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. And the music and everything, it's all like exciting. It's data center.
It's giving me, it's, yeah, so go check that out. It's giving me 80s vibes, like the 80s
a little bit.
Dance Club.
Like
vibe.
some Tony Montana, like I'm
Yeah,
selling
like,
Chachi, making money now.
And all that,
Money,
all that
power,
good
respect.
stuff. Money, power, respect. DKNG, see, that's the thing, right? I just feel like gunslinging a little bit now, and you don't necessarily want to do that. But this was a good signal for DKNG right here, right? So a nice hammer candle at the lows, and now you're holding that level, and it's climbing back towards the volume-weighted average price. Ether's just grinding. I can't buy this anymore, to be honest with you guys. Like, I've taken my 4 stabs at it. This one, we just take a small win, considering the bulk of the position was here. But I can't buy the top of this range. The volume is starting to pick up, but I need to see how we react around the volume-weighted average price and what Bitcoin is up to. I mean, I think it's the stronger class right now. It's not quite near that peak that we see Ethereum at, so that's a key resistance level there. But pre-market, 66.39, that's really, really important. Oh, okay, let's break this down. Why was I short? Guys, check this out. This is crazy. Oh yeah, we're leading into earnings for NVDA. It's at the end of the month, I believe. So this is what my thought process was here on NVDA. As soon as I see this, I start salivating, right? So I'm like, all right, because I get really excited and overwhelmed a little bit. But here it is, right? This is what we go for. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for on the options chain. 185, 112,000 contracts on this week's expiration cycle. 192.5, 150. And then you have this congestion zone of just pure open interest. And sure enough, where was our high? Almost 184 on the day. And I'm like, all right, this call wall's coming into play. We put in that indecision print at a high. We had that 10 minutes of extreme buying. You put that indecision print. Let's short this bad boy. All right, we get in short. And then it squeezes us, licks us out. We get back in. We try to get in more. Order rejected, order rejected, order rejected. And then sure enough, you get that move to exactly what I was looking for. And 91 on NVDL, the 2x leverage ETF. We were looking for that, and we come 10 cents within the target. But we didn't have the size, so none of that matters. And it doesn't even matter. But
doesn't even
exactly.
matter.
But there goes Ethereum. You can see where we're positioned. It's just one of those days, man. So yeah, we're going to realize where we're sitting and how we've been performing, and we're going to just sit back, post up, and chill out right now, Sharif.
I do like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, not the tough day, but I do like the posting up and chilling.
Yeah.
All right, guys. CREG, we're doing it live on this one. This is the most active of them. So initially in here at 20, we scalp out to 30. It drops. We get the 12 ad, and now we've scalped up into 20s. It's going to have to hold here, though. So this is the 10 EMA. 205 is VWAP, but I'm basing my trade off the 10 EMA. Let me wet the beak here as well as it pops back down. So let's give this, since we got on CREQ 212s, I'm going to give it to 207. It's going to have to hold up there for the remaining amount. I know I'm giving it a tight stop, but, you know, just trying to be careful with these ones, because again, I feel that, you know, maybe the best days for these small cap gappers, at least for the moment, is behind them. I'd like to see how they react in September or even before. If the Fed starts telegraphing a rate cut, I'd like to see how they react, and then we'll assess then. But, you know, my observation has been not as good, okay? Not as good. But CREQ looking good over here. Back up into 23. We've got 12s on. The next area I'm looking at wetting the beak is 26. That seller at 23 is a staunchy little bugger, and he won't shake. So we're going to have to pack our patience. But I want to call this LAWR, even though it's not LAWR, but I just want to say that. Shout out to Jerry LAWR. Is he still alive?
I know a Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Jerry LAWR.
Who's Jerry
the king,
Lawler?
Jerry LAWR. You should know he is. He's the king.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, he's from wrestling, bro. We're
Is
just
he?
giving
Yeah,
you
I
trouble.
don't know. But for all my fighting
Neil's
fans,
very disappointed.
you want to talk about real
He's
combat
alive. Thank you, Neil.
sports.
He's 75. Okay, so he's getting up there, man.
guy,
Well, God
Robbie
bless his
Lawler.
soul, but,
Lawler.
LAWR, Joey just broke out there above 205 into 214. Keep an eye out on that one. It's been a hell of a respectful trade off the 10 EMA on LAWR. Okay, so we're going to keep tabs on that. But go CREG. CREG's doing well for me over here. We just got the ad finally on an SNGX at VWAP. It's going to have to hold up here. And there goes quadruple C through into that 40 penny area. Next area I'm waiting is actually right here, 43s and then 45. So quadruple C also finding support off the 10 EMA and then right back up. So keeping my eye on all these ones right now. We'll keep an eye as well on SNGX. As it's going to have to hold up here as well. I'm also in EBS. Sorry, I'm in a lot of stocks. I do apologize. EBS, we weaseled in at 43. EBS is a VWAP hold, Joey. So if it doesn't hold VWAP, it's the end of the story.
Yeah.
What's happening over there, bro?
I don't know, man.
What's happening?
Yeah, this is crazy. There goes Ethereum. It's gone now. It's gone. So there's my guy, Robinhood. Let's go. We're all the way back here. We're knocking on the door of the all-time highs. So that's a good look on Robinhood. Yes, man. All good in the hood on that one. We're happy about that. And I mean, go Ethereum, go as well too, guys. Like we like that. Also, from a swing perspective, hopped out of those VIX calls. Super not good. Well, I mean, not bad. I took a $150 loss on a couple contracts. So that's small potatoes. So yeah, we don't mind that. But there it is. This is the grind that Ether is just putting us through. So there it is. And let's see if I can. Let me see if I can expand this enough. So it's like quarter risk. You're just building it aggressively, and the same thing going on here. And then sure enough, boom, you get that move higher.
21.
Yeah, so it was a really nice move. But then you just run into VWAP and it rejects. And now it's put it in on the 2 minute. It's put in an inverted doji candle right there. So you can see the aggressive rejection that we're experiencing in the overall market, right? So the longs are going to be a little bit more difficult to find. I mean, AMD and Robinhood are kind of living in their own parallel universe right now. So we got to continue to look for signs of strength. But as for earnings tonight, because before we do the news, we're going to obviously run through some of the expected moves and go through the train. We got the Trade Desk, SoundHound, Rocket Lab, Pinterest, and then SMR, New Scale Power Corporation, Block, XYZ, Twillo. So another B-list lineup there. And Take-Two, I like Take-Two Interactive. I know Fabian's going to be keeping an eye out on that one. Because in order to figure out what Take-Two's up to, we got to get the one animation that I was asking for. Otherwise, they're not going to release the report. So yeah, we're still waiting on that. But yeah.
How did we do on the likes yesterday?
We got like 800, so 800 is not 1,000. So it's,
wow.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't pound the desk on that more towards the end there.
You know what, brother? You can only do so much sometimes. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is what it is. NVDA putting in a new low a day, breaking through that 5-minute opening range right now. So watch out for that level to break. We talked about the high levels of open interest, and this is something that we most definitely want to keep an eye out on.
He says, "Calm down that passion." You didn't hear that one?
No, I didn't hear. He didn't give it to me, so it's all right, man. I get it.
Oh,
it's all good,
Fabian's laughing at this guy. It's like, oh my God.
It's all good, man. It's all good, man.
It's okay. It's okay. I see you, Casey. I see you, Casey.
Oh, people don't forget, man.
Take it easy, Joey. Oh,
well, see, but the thing is, you didn't get it. That's a line from Superbad as well, too. Remember when they're going on the soccer field? He's like, yeah, you peed your pants in like 4th grade. He's like, yeah, that was in 4th grade. He's like, yeah, people don't forget. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that.
People don't forget, man.
Yeah, hold on. Who was that he was bullying about people? Who was that?
Franco, the Franco brother.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I forget the actor.
That movie's got a cult following, bro.
It's the best movie of all time.
I'll never forget that movie, man. It made a lot of careers.
Exactly.
Huh? It's one of the best movies of all time.
Easily. Cult classic. Yeah.
Oh, Neil's coming in.
No, I was asking a question because I heard Joe say that's the best movie of all time.
No.
I was.
That's crazy.
As far as comedies go, I'm just gonna nominate in my opinion, the funniest movie made in my adult life. Is Tropic Thunder, and it's not
very
close.
good. It's very good.
For 400 years. That word. I'm telling you, Robert Downey Jr. That is the greatest comedic performance.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that nowadays without people
you
losing
know
their-
what? Here's the thing. You could do it nowadays because it was so funny and so well done that anybody that even tries to act like it was racist, you're just gonna get shot down because it was too damn funny. Straight up. If comedy's comedy, if comedy is that good, you just can't hate on it. It was so perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
Like every brother out there is like, this dude just crushed it and we love it. Like my pops is old school. He watched it and was like, "Are you kidding me?" It's like Chappelle's show. My dad, the first time I was watching Chappelle's show, and my pops walked in. He was visiting, and it was Clayton Bigsby episode.
That's crazy.
It was the white.
That's
That's all I'm saying.
one of the
he was
best
dying.
episodes ever.
It's actually the best episode.
Like, I don't know if we can use the words.
Yeah.
YouTube might get upset. Like, with
the funniest part is
I
the
don't
2
know.
books that he wrote. He wrote some books after, and it's just like, yo, this is absolutely hilarious. But no, for me, I think the funniest movie of all time is Dumb and Dumber. They're like they're riding on the little moped on the way to Aspen, and I think it's like Harry's on the back, and he's freezing, and he's like, oh, my hands are freezing. And he's like, oh, you want to, here, take a pair of gloves. He's like, oh, you've had 2 this whole time? Which is absolutely hilarious.
I think one of my faves, it's not my favorite, but one of my faves, Wedding Crashers. I like Vince Vaughn's comedy. That's why. Like, I know he's fallen out of favor now. Maybe he got a little canceled there, but
Did he? For what? What did he do?
I don't know, man. Everybody was
He got a
getting
little canceled. I
man.
don't remember what happened to him. But
I don't know
something
what
he
happened.
fell out of
Yeah, I don't
favor.
remember,
He
but-
was a good. You know what the crazy? People forget that he was in some serious stuff too.
He
Like,
was,
serious
absolutely.
movies. Yeah, like the guy was in Rudy of all things. It was a Dead Poet Society, I think.
Wild.
He was in. Not Dead
Remember
Poet, the
that.
other one.
Great book.
The one with Brendan Fraser in the college.
Right.
Is that what he was in?
What's it called, Adara?
No, it wasn't. He wasn't in School Times. He
School
wasn't in School
Ties,
Ties.
yeah.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Anyways, those are all great picks. But the other, if you've never seen this one, and maybe I'm gonna date myself. I was gonna
fine.
throw one last one, then I'm gone. See no evil, hear no evil. Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. And
I've
I
never
can't even
watched
say
that.
straight.
Bit of stretch- bit of a
Richard Pryor
stretch
and
there,
Gene
yeah.
Wilder. That's all I'm gonna say.
I've never seen
Richard
that.
Pryor was the man. And if you've never, I get it. I'm old, but Richard Pryor was on a
Sorry.
different level. If you like, Chappelle was Chappelle. Eddie Murphy was Eddie
Chappelle.
Murphy. But Richard Pryor is the reason that both those dudes did what they did. Straight up. And most
Love
comedians would tell you that. So if you've never seen it, all I think of is. Oh, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because I go all day on some comedy stuff.
Thank you for chiming in, Neil. All right, we had a super chat from Casey that I didn't get to. I'm so sorry, Casey. Let me just scroll back up. All right, thank you for the $10 super chat. Casey, you're talking about LAWR. I'm just going to call it LAWR. I don't know why. Here it is, though. 1 second. I thought I had it. There we go. What's the question? Has been a nice day. Got in at the open, 169. Bang. Absolutely, Casey. That is a hell of a move. You literally have like a few pennies above the day low, which is $1.60. So I love your entry, Casey. I also happen to like the respect that this one's had for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. It has a 14 high at day. It's trying to hold above 2. I think I'm going to weasel into this one with just a stop below 2, even though, you know, it is kind of a slow mover here. LAWR, the ticker, Adara LePage.
Sharif Gobriel, let's take a look here at Bitcoin because we actually do have a crypto-related catalyst today for this market. Bloomberg reporting that Trump will be signing the executive order on Thursday. That's likely the one he's going to be set to sign or scheduled to sign at 12 p.m. today. This executive order would be allowing alternative assets, such as private equity, crypto, and real estate, into 401ks. Apparently, this will basically allow the U.S. Secretary of Labor to review the guidance on these private market investments in 401k and other contribution plans. And so basically, you could be investing in these type of alternative assets for your retirement. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens there, but it sounds like this is what he's actually going to be signing. We did have a really nice look here for Bitcoin and for crypto pre-market on this news, and Bitcoin continuing to push back to the upside. Right now, this is the 15-minute chart, so we're in a bit of a bull flag here on the 15. Looks like we need to clear that 116,000.8 level, and then next here, 117,000 to continue to push higher. On the daily chart, we'll pull that up for BTC. We're near day's highs. We are coming into, I guess, a little bit of resistance previous support around that 117,000 level, but if we can clear it, could be a nice continued push to the upside for BTC. Let's see how this executive order signing goes as we send you back to the Bash Brothers.
For that should be really interesting. Joey, I mean, this is something that I'm quite excited about, not for us because we're not Americans, but I feel like maybe it starts down there and then your good friend Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister of Canada, he weasels that kind of stuff over here. The only difference though, Joey, is we've got so many different types of these IRA 401k accounts, right? We got the TFSA, we got the RSP, RRSPs, and then we also have that for that home savings one. There's
FHSA.
Thank you, first time home, whatever. Then you've got the education one, a lot of different tax deferred accounts. Reason is, it's a constant rinsing over here, Joseph. Constant rinsing, a quadruple, quintupling of taxes everywhere we go. Shout out to Canada.
Shout out to Stephen Harper, though, for bringing in the TFSA, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
Otherwise,
the big Stephen H.
Crazy. I mean, as for that, you get to contribute X amount, but then you want to. But the thing is, you can accumulate that, right? If you don't contribute much one year, that rolls over to the next year as well, too. So you can contribute double the amount and not get taxed on that. But you have to watch out.
Bigly,
yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Sorry, brother. I had to fix it up there, Andre. Sorry for kind of getting into that there for you guys. But anyways, yeah, I think Ethereum might get rolling here, to be honest with you guys. It's looking pretty good. It's unfortunate, but it's just the narrative of this session, right? So it's just realization. It's going to have to be a triple plus credit rating. So that's going to be obviously Canada credit rating right there in order for me to get involved into something here. So yeah, we're going to be patient. Amazon is consolidating around the lows. It was strong in the open. AMD is ridiculously strong. Hasn't started to pull back. Unlike its peer. Oh, there it was. You sly dog, you. There it is. Yeah, so look at that hammer print. Oh, my days. Oh, look at that inverted hammer, that topping tail with the volume supporting it right there, Sharif. You play the break of that, and boom, you're off to the races. Who knows what you're going to get? If this market wants to continue to bleed, then who knows? AMD can most definitely head into the volume-weighted average price. That would be primary target. You obviously want to keep out an eye out for some key resistance zones that can possibly act around support. So that'll be around that 172.46 level. Let's pull up the chain to see if we have any overhead like we seen in the likes of NVDA, and if that's reflected in AMD as well. So 16,000 at 175. What was our high of the day here? 175.61. Anything north of that, so 200 does have 20,000 contracts. So that's going to be our max pain on the call side. Let's take a look at the put side if there's anything significant. 110. I think that's a little bit of a push. We do have some 22,700, but I think that's more or less for the writers, right? They could have bought that a while or sold that a while ago, and then sure enough, you're just going to allow that to expire worthless this weekend and collect all of that premium. Those aren't worth anything. I want to do something here quickly. I'm not going to do it right now, but
not going to do it live?
No, we're going to do it live, but we're going to do strategy builder, and then we're going to just put together a lot of the strategy.
I love that.
Yeah, we're going to just put together a combination of strategies that we can, whether it be credit spreads, debit spreads, condors, etc. Just so you get just so you get familiar with constructing them. They're fairly simple, right? They're just a combination of spreads. But that's what I did, Sharif. For me, I'm more of a visual learner. So when I read something, I need to actually physically do it after in order to really comprehend and understand what I'm doing. And that's helped me a lot with just messing around with the options train, putting together the combinations, and it will tell you a lot more. And it's more of a visual, right? So I'll do an example right now. It's unfortunate that we can't click on both. So what I'll do is I'll construct us a quick credit spread here, or a condor. I'll do a condor and we'll just pretend that it's going to work. So we're looking at the likes of, we'll go to NVDA. I think it's going to be a slightly better example because we do have definitive call wall. So I'm going to go on for a couple seconds here, Sharif.
Yeah, you take your time, man.
So essentially what we'll do is we don't want this. We're going to go further dated. We're going to go to the August 29, 2025. And what we're going to do is we're going to select our deltas, anything less than 0.1. So essentially that's going to tell us that we're going to expire worthless. So if you want to construct a condor, what is an iron condor? It's just essentially saying that you believe that price is going to stay within a certain range, right? So this is the range that you have. This is where your short contracts are established at the highs and the lows. This is going to be your bear call spread. This is going to be your bull put spread. So at the end of the day, so what we're going to do is 215. That gives us a delta of 0.79. So that means there's essentially a 93% chance that this is going to expire out the money, even a little bit more. So we will select this short call, right? And then what we'd want to do is we obviously want to protect our downs, our upside as well. So in the instance of a bear call spread. So what you do is you go, so we got 69 here, and then we're going to buy a couple strikes higher, and that's 35. So we're going to collect a net premium of around $30, a little bit more, $34 we're going to collect per contract combination right there. So what we're doing is we're selling this one, we're buying this one, so that's going to be our top end range. That's going to be our bear call spread. And then as for our bull put, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go to that 9 delta strike and see what we can find. So we'll go to this one because I think that we're going to be a little bit more bearish, and I don't believe that NVDA is going to fall short of 155 by the 29th of August. So what are we going to do? We're going to write this $1.29, collect $1.29, but we also want to protect our other side. So what are we going to do? We're going to purchase $5 lower, so we're going to collect another $30. So essentially here now we have the 155, 150, and then we have the other strike up here as well to the 215, 220. And that's just going to be our constructive range, and we're going to collect a net premium of $60 per contract combination. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I will go to strategy builder button later. I got to do it on here. It's not going to allow me to do it right now, but we'll do that later. I'm just kind of going over what we will do some more. So that's going to build us our iron condor, and essentially you collect $60 per combination of condors. If you sell 4 of them, there you go. You do the math. $240. As long as NVDA closes within that $215 range and that 155 range, you get to collect $240, and that's how that works. Hopefully that helped a little bit.
Absolutely, Joseph, that was banger. I just want to bring to your attention this over here. Now, not every platform is going to have this. This is what we call the imbalance locator. And thank you, Neil, for pointing this out to me. So this is important because this is the second data point that we have for the IPO. So let me just go off to the IPO screen. As I mentioned to you guys, that number right there, the theoretical auction price for Fly, which is the IPO that I'm talking about, trading on the Nasdaq. So we'll be able to see a good tap there, 68 bucks. Neil, I don't know if it's flipped on yours, but it's flipped on mine. Yeah. So this, see where it says side? And there can be a B or an S there. So some of them will have S's, some of them will have B's in the side column. That means it's buy imbalance. There's a buy imbalance there. And look at the paired volume. PV stands for paired volume. The amount that's been paired so far, about 2.5 million orders. So what I want to see is this be a B and this number here continue to increase. Like we kind of saw with, what's it called? What the hell was that IPO we did the other day?
Fig.
Thank you, Figma. All right? And the comparison that we have is the actual pegged IPO price, which is $43. And that was not even the original data point. The original IPO range was like a couple of bucks below that, like 39 to 40 or something like that. I got it in my notes. So it was already oversubscribed. And then when we get to trading day, like we did with Figma, the tap is, again, it's increasing now. From 68, it's up to 69. And then you also want to see the buy side imbalance. And so we know it's a buy side imbalance because it says side B, and then we want to see the amount. So there's currently a buy side imbalance of about 17,000 shares, 21,000. It's getting more and more as more limit on open or market on open orders are submitted to the exchange. We'll start seeing this number change. Look at it, drop down. So somebody sold up a storm there. We were at 20-something thousand. Now we're just down to 63. So this number will constantly change, and that will be reflected here as well. So just keep your eye on that. If you're interested in this kind of thing, into the IPOs, it probably behooves you to just learn a little bit about it before you punch in. So a couple of good things to report to you guys, some good, some bad. Quadruple C, we're taking more prints here to the high side. I'm happy with this trade. Let's see if it bull flags. It generally held area support. Also LAWR, shout out shout out, I forget, to Casey. We've taken a bunch of prints on this. Is generally holding VWAP in that $2 area. We've, I think we've taken out 4 prints so far with a couple unfilled there, but I definitely want to see this hold the volume weighted average price. Otherwise, if it's of no interest to me. But this one I traded it incorrectly. I should have had a bit of a looser stop. Now, full disclosure, CREG breaks my rules. Because, yeah, it fulfills one of the requirements, which is trading above VWAP, but it's not above the pre-market high, nor is it above the aftermarket high, which I look at as akin to the pre-market high, because those same bag holders in the aftermarket could be there in the pre-market. There's really no hard and fast rule why they shouldn't be, because they're very similar. Those aftermarket and pre-market, maybe not the same participants, but the rules are the same, and there's no volatility halt parameters in the after or the pre. Anyway, this one's zigging and zagging, 232. To get back above that aftermarket high yesterday, we got to break above 2 low 40s, okay? 242, 240, something in and around that area. Now, that's the bad news. The good news, or sorry, that's the bad news. The other bad news is SNGX broke down, and we just lost VWAP, so we'll take a hit there as well. So we're 2 for 2, negative on the day currently, looking to get out of that. So we'll see exactly whether we can work into some positive trades here on CREG. What I'm going to do with CREG is I'm going to peg an alert to the pre-market high, and I'll put it a couple of shekels below. That way I had advanced notice of it if it makes its way back up there. So CREG will continue to be positive, but I shouldn't have been getting out break even there. In fact, I should have been adding to the position. I didn't. That's a mistake on my part. We'll look to do better next time. And then that's it. That's all I got right for the moment, Joey. We're continuing to hold LAWR, which is positive. Quadruple C looks positive as well. Rusty Billy. Something. I can't read the entire thing. OSRH. Thank you very much, my friend, for the $2 super chat. Let's have a look at OSRH. OSRH. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at here. Yeah. So this is down 4%. OSR Holdings. It's about a $12.25 million, not billion, dollar market cap. It's only traded 112,000 shares on the day. And this is what the daily chart looks like. So it's clearly coming. It looks like a SPAC. It looks like it de-SPACed and tanked. And the reason I can tell that is because it has consolidation at $10. Typically, when you have prolonged consolidation at $10, you usually are a SPAC. It's not a hard and fast rule, but just without looking further, I can already gauge that. I'm assuming it de-SPACed somewhere around here. Is it still a SPAC? No, it's a healthcare company. So it's a healthcare, okay, improving the lives of people and their family. That's what the description says. Sounds like a great objective and a noble goal, but the money doesn't seem to be flying in anyway. So OSRH, I hate to sound like a Debbie Downer, but this is not a good name. It is putting in lower lows, lower highs. It's now at risk, of getting delisted as it's lost the dollar. Is this on the IONQ? Yes, it is. It's a Nasdaq name, so it's going to have to work its way back above $1 to stay in compliance. Now, there's ways around that, and you can reverse split, so you take back shares from people, but the price ends up going up. So we'll have to see if that happens. But with respect to a trade, whether swing or intraday, I don't like it. I hate to be so conclusive about it, but it does not look good, Joseph.
Yes, sir. All right there. So you went over all the super chats. Bitcoin a little bit stronger than what we're seeing in Ethereum. That's positive, breaking through. But again, rejecting that one specific level that we were referring to earlier. So just keep that in mind, guys. What's the volume profile telling us? And this is what we want to see. So, I mean, there it is. It is significantly larger than what we experienced for the past hour or so. So keep that in mind. That is positive. But is that going to be enough to be sustained? And can that be sustained? So, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Typo. I do, right? But I also use, so this is different TWS, we'll call it. But I like to use something else and just also my phone as well. Take it, Joe. It's yours, MSTR short. We'll see. I'm holding 300 shares of fly at 70. Yes, Shane, we've seen that. You went over Shane's super chat, right, Sharif?
Pardon me?
Shane. His name is Shane.
My platform is glitching. No, I answered him, but we didn't actually address it. I'm
up $750 on
yeah,
fly
and Neil asked him as well, and so did I. I want to know how he got the fills. I don't know if I can get a fill on my platform. I certainly can't get it here.
Yeah.
But just to bring it up, Joey, it's $70 now.
Oh, is it?
The top.
Damn.
The top is increasing, guys, okay?
Oh,
and that's one
man.
thing to keep an eye on. It's not a hard and fast rule, nor is it like foolproof, but it's one of the data points you need to keep your eye on if you're going to trade these.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, how about buying Lily today for swing trading for a week? Okay, he's asking you that, Ronak Kumar, but please don't spam the chat. I understand.
I'm gonna look at Lily for him, and I'll get Adara to chime in a second as well
absolutely.
for Lily.
I want to take a look at Lily too,
All right,
if that's
get
okay,
in.
man.
Yeah,
if I'm allowed to.
Asking
only
permission,
playing.
bro. It's our world, baby.
It's our world, baby. We just live in it. Eli Lilly. Okay, this is pretty expensive in my opinion. Do you want to be swinging this name? I don't know, but to each their own. Ooh, wow. Okay, which way are you swinging though? That's the thing, right?
So it broke some key levels there. Derek, come in on the little screen there because it's interesting. Yeah.
I think honestly, don't touch this as a long right now, longer term. Like I'm looking at the daily chart, lower highs, lower lows. Like honestly, most of the levels I have on this are in the 700-800s. We're not anywhere near there. They're the set 52-week lows. Michael Noss will always say, don't buy stocks at lows. Don't sell stocks at highs. And that's obviously generalization. There are notable exceptions to this rule. MSCR was one, AppLovin was one, but those were also both when they were at all-time highs and they sold off. So buying a stock when it's at 52-week lows, I don't really have much precedence for.
Well said.
Especially a spreadier stock. We're kind of near. I mean, I will say intraday, the 636 has held pretty well. I've watched it, but we did break it a couple times. Right now, we're waffling. Based on this daily trend, I would not in good conscience be like, this is a great look for an intraday for a forward swing, if I'm being honest.
And Adira, it's like lost a lot of the area lows. Look at this screen. So if you're looking area low, area low, area low, area low.
Lows.
Yeah, exactly. So. Well said.
I mean,
Joey, what's your view?
What's my take? Yeah, you don't go all in at once, right? Like, see, the thing is though, with this big gap down, it's somewhat attractive to a certain point. I get that you're going to be getting it at a good price, and your risk to reward can be there as well too. Okay. But one thing that you want to wait for is just some form of indecision. This is a pretty bearish candle, right? There's very little buying pressure within that. So for me personally, I always say this: divide your piece of the pie. Right, you don't just eat the pie all at once. You break it up into pieces, and you get involved a little bit. You eat a little bit for breakfast, you eat a little bit for lunch, and then you obviously have some. I don't eat pie, so that's what I'm talking pizza pie here.
Assassino.
Yeah, there it is. Right. So at the end of the day, don't go all in at once. Slowly start to build your position, but also just keep your measures, your risk measures.
People coming at you in the chat. Joey, what do you know about pie? All right, guys, I got to interrupt Joey because your other friend there, well, let's just call it my friend as well. CREG just took out that pre-market, that aftermarket high from yesterday. 245 is now the official high, but true to form, I'm not the only person looking at pre-market high and aftermarket high. That is well known by small cap traders and the short small cap traders as well, because they're going gung-ho on the shorts. This thing dropping 10 quick pennies off the top. I will not punch in until it decisively clears that 245. So be on the lookout now. CREG is breaking out above the pre-market high. For the moment, it is below it. Let's see if it's able to work back above 245. It's up 54%-ish, Joey. Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to bring that to the attention of everybody.
No, for sure. So keep that rolling. I mean, so
keep
just
rolling.
Yeah, so just don't go all in at once, right? That's just not logical in my opinion. Especially if you have any form of experience. That's why I just like to continuously. If I have a swing trade, I'll just boom. I'll DCA into that bad boy, right?
Okay.
But it only to a certain extent. You have to figure out where you're wrong, and then just stick to that risk measures. All right, I appreciate that there. And on Thursday, hopefully I didn't butcher your name, but I'm pretty sure I did. But thank you very much for those kind words. And just go. Go on Bitcoin, keep going, go Robinhood, go to those all-time highs. We like that. And this is what I'm talking about, support levels or resistance levels now coming in as support. There it is on AMD. You get that inverted hammer candle right there. Sure enough, you have the ability to short it from 74s to 72. And then if you get that break, I think that's just bonus. And then you head into the middle of the range. The next target's going to be the volume-weighted average price. Adara, what do you got for us?
Get it, Adara.
One of the IPOs we were watching today is open. This is White Fiber, WYFI. Wi-Fi, I guess you could call it. Opened at $25, made a high at, looks like $25.13. Now trading around $21.20. So Really rough look here for WYFI to start things off. FLY, the more closely watched IPO, has not yet opened. Currently seeing a theoretical auction price of $71. Back to you.
All right, here we go. We're doing it freaking live. I fat-fingered on CREG, but we're back in. This one's breaking out, guys. All right, here we go. It feels like this one's got a bit of a bid under it at the moment. We got it originally at 42, so I did front run it. Scalp, 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 add, scalp. Here we go again. What we've got on right now is 55, so we're break even. But I do want to add at 35 here if it does lose the $0.50. Why? Because this is an area of previous resistance. So I'd like for this 30, 35 area to get tested. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw an order for that level. I'm gonna front run it by putting it at 37s and see what we get there. There it goes again though, through the high into 60s, excuse me, not the high 61. We're zigging. We've got a couple outs so far right now on CREG. It's got good strength, but that is for now. I don't mind getting a little bit more at these key areas of technical support. But I'm packing my patience over here, trying to wait for the retracement or the breakout, whatever it wants to do. But it's now cleared those area highs, so I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I'm going to flip to the 5-second chart as well, so that I can get a gauge of what this one is doing. CREG is the ticker. CREG. There we go. All right, let me just fix this over here. There we go. All right, Joey, what do you got, my man? Because it's got to throw in some orders here.
Yeah, absolutely. So IONQ, so going back to this quantum space, guys, a nice curl over holding of these key levels, and now you're punching through the volume-weighted average price. So, I mean, let's keep an eye out on this one. I might like this for a potential long there as well, guys. So we'll keep in mind. I'll retest the VWAP. We're going to keep an eye out for that one, and maybe we get a move there. One thing that is positive in Bitcoin, you have a 5-minute candle that is opening at the top or at the higher end of the range. Topper. Remember Topper's Pizza? I don't know if anybody ever remembers that place. No. Anyway, shout out to that. Shout out. Yeah, so there it is. Boom. Sitting on the top, so you can see where we open up here, and then now we're sitting up kind of on this end of the range, and sure enough, it's above some of these key support resistance levels, right? So just keep an eye out on that. Bitcoin can really start rolling. Havana, did you see my DM? Because Sharif, Havana brought up a really good point yesterday. It's just from a percentage metric. He's stating that IBIT is kind of like a leverage product, and I was kind of doing my percentage gain thing that I was showing.
You showed Nimrod.
Yeah, and it kind of is, right? So I thought the tracking error was none. I thought you would see obviously an equal amount of percentage gain in Bitcoin, and in IBIT, no, that's not necessarily the case. No, it's not the case. Yeah, so
we got to get the coin directly then.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. I don't know. I got to look a little bit more into that, Havana Woody. I'm looking for you to respond to me on X just so I can dig into it.
Ask your friend Copilot there.
I like Havana Woody more than Copilot.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't say that out loud. They're listening.
Oh, they're listening. Sorry. And
are they not?
Yeah, they're always listening, brother. The FBI. I don't want to get a text from the FBI agents.
Well, no, I meant the AI. Like it's you know.
Do you ever remember those memes?
Say that again. Assassino knows. Because I saw Fabian, the way he talks to the LLM, he's like, "Are you dumb?" I'm like, Fabian, that's exactly what I do, but I always lament it. I'm like, I know none of this is gonna get deleted.
You know what?
And once they're awake and they're conscious,
they're gonna remember.
They're gonna know. They're gonna know exactly what I said about
that's
them.
why you see people like bullying their humanoid robots and stuff, like the robots.
It's not the move. It's not the move, is it?
Don't do that. I'm gonna be friends with them. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm just. There goes Ethereum. Yes, I mean, even though I'm not in it, I'm still in it. You know, for the swing. So we like.
Vanna Woody responded to you, by the way.
What did he say?
Yeah, glad you took a look. Yes, I'm always listening, bro.
All right, brother. Just please respond to my DM and just kind of give me what data you've collected, because I want to go over that just in case I'm in the wrong thing. But anyways, IBIT, top end of the range. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to break. Volume is moderate here, so we want to see that start to pick up a little bit. IONQ getting that VWAP pullback. Do we get involved? Maybe wait for something a little bit deeper. But there goes my good friend Ethereum. It's unfortunate that we you know what, Sharif? I gotta say it.
Go ahead, man.
I Devin Haney'd the old ETHA. Obviously, hindsight's all 2020, but it was a little bit of a Devin Haney move right there.
Devin Haney sucks.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I can't stand any of that guy's fights, man.
Yeah.
And I even went back on the tube to watch a couple. I'm like, all right, let's see what
sucks,
people were saying. You know, you can't be that big of a name and suck all the time. No, he sucks all the time.
He sucks
all the time.
All the time.
Like,
I can't say, yeah, Devin Haney, you've put on an interesting fight.
No.
The only interesting fight that he ever had is when he got his bum whooped by Ryan Garcia.
That's great. Ryan didn't care at all about that Rolly fight, did he?
No.
And it breaks my heart, man, because he's got talent, and people would, like, give a limb for that dude's talent. Speed,
For
power,
sure,
right?
exactly.
He's more, I think, I don't know, man. He's not drinking as much as he was smashing like last year.
Yeah.
But
Adair and I were talking about it, though. It's tough to be a child star, man, and just have the
100%.
limelight.
No, I remember you guys talking about that. But he wasn't really a child star, Adair. I mean, he was a grown-ass man when he started boxing. I mean, I don't know.
Jake
Ryan
Paul or-
Garcia. No, Ryan Garcia.
Okay, I don't know about
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia. I know with Jake Paul, I give him no excuses because he put himself in front of a camera on YouTube, but I'm sorry, at certain times you have to draw a line.
That's fair.
I will continue my Jake Paul tirades.
Get it, Jake. Well, maybe don't, but whatever. Don't get it, says Adara. All right, guys, we're having a good time. Bob the dang dog. Shout out to my man Bob from Canada, dropping 5 Canadian big ones there. How many shares are you willing to buy of Fly? Are you putting a market? We can only put limit because our program doesn't accept market on open for these IPOs. I don't know, man. Look, we don't talk share size. I won't take that much. Maybe 25, 50 shares. We'll see, right? Like, and we'll just throw it out there. I haven't really decided quite yet. I'm going to continue to watch at what the what's it called? The limit on not the limit, the theoretical auction price as well as the buy imbalance. We'll see, my friend. I haven't decided to fully answer. Joey, are you taking the IPO?
Yeah. Why not, man? You got to dabble into it, whether it works or it doesn't work, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so you got to take the shot. Oversubscription, why not take a little bit of stab? Are you going to go as heavy as you did on Fig? Probably not. You want to see what's going on with the name, right? So if you do have the ability to get in on it, oversubscription, now the top is significantly higher than what it's supposed to, what it's been offering at. So for me personally, why not?
Well, yeah, okay.
Why not?
We're going to go to Adara. Adara, you set up the Lou key. What's good?
I did set up a Lou key, but I'm not sure I'm going to use it for Fly because honestly, this imbalance locator not looking to Fly. It's a buy, it's a sell, it's a buy, it's a sell. Like, make up your mind, Fly. I don't have the time or energy for that. But let's take a look right now at the Nasdaq, which might actually have the time or energy to reverse here. Look at this bottoming tail candle here at the 568.90 level. Also a bit of a level of resistance if you go back to yesterday. So maybe potentially an area of reversion for the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the S&P 500, see how that's doing. Looking a little bit weaker, but much like the Nasdaq, showing some potential for a reversion at its current level. We're going to get to one of the biggest stories of the day in a second. Let's talk about Wi-Fi first here. White Fiber, WYFI. This is the other bigger IPO of the day. Dropped $6 from the open, so be careful with these guys. This is WYFI. Here's AAPL. This is part of the largest catalyst of the day, more or less. We did have Donald Trump, president of the U.S., and CEO Tim Cook of Apple having an interesting little press conference yesterday. Tim Cook presented Donald Trump with a gold-plated Apple situation, and more importantly, the company did announce a total of $600 million they're going to be investing in the U.S. over the next 4 years. Trump also, I mean, you could keep an eye on names like TSM, because he also did announce more or less 100% tariffs on semiconductors unless you've invested in the U.S. or you're building in the U.S. This actually applies to most of these semiconductors, so they continued higher, at least off the open. Here's AppLovin, one of the many earnings names on Watch today. This moved about $60 more or less off of its lows. Q2 earnings beat, though their sales actually were a miss, so EPS beat, sales miss for APP, mixed guidance. And if you guys are looking for earnings tonight, we've got a doozy with Sean and myself. After the bell, we'll get Pinterest. We will get Block, XYZ. We'll get a whole bunch more. SoundHound, MP. You like smaller caps or larger caps or something for you? Let's check that out at 4 p.m. Eastern. But for now, Neil, lesson of the day. Take it away.
You know what? What was that thing called? The gift? Back in the day, it's like manifest, whatever you want your reality to be or whatever nonsense it was. I wasn't into that, but you better not be into that when it comes to the markets. The market doesn't care what you want to happen or what you think should happen, especially during earnings season. So today, it's a little bit different. Most of the time, I'm like, okay, well, this is what I could have done differently. I'll show you something I traded, maybe something I missed, and it'll always be a mix of what was traded. Today, I want to give some examples of you shouldn't trade it if you have a certain look or theory. And I'm going to talk about Draftkings and Eli Lilly. Now, Draftkings, if you're looking at this from a technical standpoint, right, regardless of earnings, and I'm just sort of thinking, why isn't Draftkings breaking out? I want to be a part of the breakout, right? Clearly, it needs to hold about $47 on a daily chart to be part of the breakout. Well, what does it do on earnings? It gaps up on earnings, and when you leave last night, you really think there's a good chance that we could be holding the 47 level to the upside. When we come in today, you're gapped above this level already. But what's happening? It's sliding in the pre-market all the way down, and before the stock even opens, it's losing exactly that $47 level. So that's it. You'll see I have an execution on it now because it's trying to trend break after a triple bottom. So that's a trade that I'll take probably like 9 or 10 times out of 10. But I can't be involved in the long breakout. Just because I liked it, if it could hold above 47 on a daily chart, the reaction to the earnings are what they are, and it's sellers at that price. So there's just no entry there at any point. Now, obviously, it would be nice to have caught that bottom. I don't think I was fast enough by the time I realized how crazy it was to the downside. It was a quick move. So we wait for it to do some kind of standard entry play, a reversion into the volume-weighted average price, which I'm not even offering all the way into. But you have to be able to sit it out. Now, had this been opening here, and then we're trending up, and then retesting 47, would I be long? Sure I would be. That's a very different reality. Same stock, same earnings, same price level, but one situation, I'm not going to touch it. And I've seen this over time. The idea that you're married to, I'm buying X stock at this price or whatever it might be, it gets there, you just automatically do it. I mean, context matters. And I'm always going to say context matters in that situation. Like, am I buying it in the pre-market on the way down? No. Am I buying it when it fails it at the open underneath the price? Like, obviously no. So you have to be able to sit out. And another good example of that would be Eli Lilly. And this one is different because if you liked it, let's just say you like Eli Lilly here for a trade in the 640 to 650 range. Okay, good round number from 700. It's run back up. And you heard me say multiple times, I thought the comparisons between their drug and the results of their oral versus Novo Nordisk was an unfair comparison. They shouldn't have gotten beaten up for it, but it doesn't matter. They are. Trended up into the open. So this does look a little bit better when it gets down to the bottom. But here's where context matters. I'm going to show you, just going to quickly go back to Draftkings here just so you can see a little bit of the difference. When I'm now looking long off this low. Why am I looking long off the bottom if I like an opportunity on Draftkings? Triple bottom and also kind of an all-day trend break, right? So that's an actual setup that I can get behind on Draftkings. It's going to cancel a couple of those. I'm only going to get out the first one, then we'll play it by ear. So it's a trend line, but it's also a setup that I know I like because it established a low and showed some giddy up multiple times off of that level. Now the difference in Eli Lilly, the whole I'm just going to buy a price because it's the low, there's the low. Now when it gets into this bottom, does it do anything? Consolidate off, no buyers emerge, no buyers emerge, no buyers emerge. There's no trend break. You're essentially just hoping it holds the low, which how many times does it actually test under the pre-market low? Test under, small move, fail. Test under, small move, fail. Test under, decent move, but ultimately comes right back and fails again. So it might bounce to the volume-weighted average price, but it's not really telling you that there's a bunch of buyers just eagerly waiting to snap it back up. So context matters. Just like in Draftkings, you're talking about buying it off of the low, but the way it sets up is completely different. One is bouncing off the low, giving you what I think are opportunities. The other one, you're just kind of hoping every single time, and you might get it. Like, you could just be sitting in this thing, and it might go to 650 because you're just dead on about your level. But I'd much rather try to be involved in it as an active trader if it shows me something at that price. And this is why it's okay not to trade something. I don't particularly like Fly today. And I don't think I'm going to be in it. And if it opens up at 71 and goes right to a halt and is up $10, will I be upset with myself? Maybe a little bit. But I promise you this much, I won't get emotional about it. I mean, that's just not who I am as a trader. But even if I was, I just won't. Because I'm telling you, I don't like it as much. and it's not giving me the same feel at all as recent IPOs. And to me, you've got to be picky in your trades, whether it's tight stops, whether it's not taking it all, whether it's sizing up, or whatever it might be. You've just got to have that level of discipline to not be so sometimes locked in, I'm buying this stock at that price, I'm doing this or that. Context is always going to matter in trading. What might be true at 9:30 at the open might not be true at 12 at the same price level on the same stock, and you've got to be open to that as a trader. You got to keep an open mind, stay nimble. Anybody that does take fly, now a tap of 72, so it keeps on going higher. Good luck to the trade. It's looking a little bit more bullish. I'm still probably going to pass on it, but good luck to everybody out there.
Thank you very much, Neil. Yeah, we're definitely going to cover that, whether Joseph and I take it or not. I haven't submitted my limit on open order. I haven't made a decision whether I'm going to take it, whether how many shares I'm going to take. But one thing is for sure, we will be covering it on the show. So if you're taking it on your side, we'll continuously update you on the tap, the buy imbalance, and everything else in between. Currently, I'll bring in the imbalance locator over here. So FLY, we're showing a 72, but now a sell imbalance with 140,000 variant there. So that number will continue to change, and that letter will also continue to change from B to S, buy to sell, as well as the imbalance size right there. And then the PV is paired volume. How many shares, buy orders with sell orders, the exchange was able to pair. So you can get idea about how over or under subscribed the IPO is, at least initially, okay, before the open. So I just wanted to share that kind of stuff with you. It's not something that, you know, is trading 101 unless you've been trading on a prop firm, and then it is trading 101 because like all that buy, sell, imbalance stuff we use on the closing and the opening trade. So it's kind of like required reading around here, Joey. Yes, all right, so here's the deal. I'm involved in CREG. We're currently a penny out of the money, but we've been doing well on it. A lot of scalps into the high side. I've been involved in this name. I think I have like 100 fills on this thing so far. It's trying to hold the 10 EMA. It's got a 3 candle on the 5 hold of the 10 EMA, but it's also got lower highs. So I need to see a better story, because this story right now, the ending is inconclusive. Here we go. We're popping up a little bit. Let's wet the beak. We'll take a little bit of shares. We've got shares on this one, and we've layered the orders. So a price spike up probably gets a bunch filled, but we haven't been getting said price spike, at least in the last 10 to 12 minutes. Let's see if we can get it. There's a move into 40 now. 40 is going to be a sell area, as well as 43. We were rejecting off 43 before, so keep your eye out on 43 if 40 gets cleared. Here's 42. All right, 43, there it is. We get the fill at 43, but as I mentioned, it is a resistance area, drops right back down into 40 after the 43 sell. Next area I'm posting at 45. We've got 34s on at the moment. It's a good hold of the 10 EMA and a prior area of resistance where we were involved. So very familiar with the area. I'm talking about that 230 area now. Whether 230 holds up forever and ever more, your guess is good as mine. There's 45, doesn't cross 45. There it is again, seller at 45 right now. Staunchy little bugger. Can't shake him. There we get the print. Now we're waiting at 47s. 46s glanced at me super quick, but then they looked away. Maybe she didn't like what she saw, so who knows. 46 now we're waiting at, Joey option. So we're going to pack my patience, see what we can get on that bad boy, and we'll answer Vancouver, $10 Canadian. I didn't even need to see beside, I just saw Vancouver and I knew he was one of us. One of us, one of us. Not like us, not like us. Adair's always got to go back to Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to Adair, always, she says. Get it, Adair. Joey,
yes,
you want to have a look at Wendy's for your friend there,
yeah,
Vancouver?
Absolutely. I was just got the old IBKR notification there.
What app?
No, they're just showing me my transactions. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it sends that bad boy every day, right?
Yeah,
every time you got to get a receipt from them.
So
even when you take bad trades, you got to get, reminded about it.
They let you know about it, right?
They let you know about it.
They let you know about it for sure. Hey, man, you suck, right? So
Charisse Gabriel. Bro, what the hell's happening over there, man? Who is this guy? You're getting blocked, bro, unless you change your name immediately.
What if that's
You're going to catch a block.
What's their actual name? What if
I don't know, man. There's a bunch of freaks in the chat, man.
Charisse.
A bunch of weirdos.
That's crazy. They said the channel is awesome, though. I seen them.
You got 10 seconds.
Guys,
I'm counting from now. Change your name.
But what if it's legit their name, though?
No.
Get it. Oh, no, he's not. He's saying get it, Charisse. No, so there's no chance. All right.
Bye.
As for Wendy, it's just like that, eh?
Just like that.
Yeah.
I feel no two ways about
Right
it.
away.
Right away.
Right away. As for Wendy's, let's go over this here, Super Chat. Wendy's has a large short interest at $9. Thought on this one. Chart is looking bullish after falling all year. But where are you seeing the bullishness in this?
Goodness.
I don't know. I'm missing it. I don't know. I'll rub my eyes again one more time just to make
I
sure
don't know,
awake
man.
and pinch
What the hell is
myself. I
going
don't
on
know.
with Wendy's over there?
Yeah, I
bro?
don't think. When was the last time you had a
answers.
Baconator? But anyways, yeah, no, for me personally, I don't know if this is looking bullish whatsoever. I don't know how we can determine. And the thing is, though, it's like, yeah, we may sound slightly ignorant, but we're just telling you how we see it. I don't see anything significantly bullish about what's going on with Wendy's right now. So shout out to Vancouver, I guess. But at the end of the day, you want to wait for this downtrend to be cracked, all right? And then you can take it to the top side. That will give me a bullish sign, all right? So just keep that in mind. Breakthrough retest of the level, and then you continue. Want to go over a couple examples, you ask? Sure, absolutely. Let's do that. Here's AMD. Okay, boom. AMD, look what happens. Crack the downtrend line. If you want to put another one through here, shorter time frame, crack that downtrend line. Sure enough, you're off to the races. Want to go through another one here? Sure, let's take a look. NVDA is exact same thing. You want to crack that downtrend. I'm sorry for comparing apples to oranges, essentially, because Wendy's is neither of those companies. But from a technical standpoint, you kind of want to execute at the exact same in the exact same methodology. So there it is, downtrend cracked, boom. So go back to Wendy's one more time. Has the downtrend been cracked? No. So until then, I'm going to continue on this bearish bias in Wendy's there, Sharif.
Okay. LA, like I've been really trying to focus on CREG, but I also have to know that I've got other trades. And LAWR is kind of putting a rounded top. It's losing $2. We got a bunch of prints on this one, but one goes unfilled at 07s. I don't know how I feel. Look, it's still above VWAP. That's what's keeping me conflicted. We got 97s on. Right now, it's showing me 2. VWAP is at 94s. I think I can afford to let this one breach VWAP or at least come into VWAP. So I'm going to pack my patience on that one. I'm not going to take it out. But quadruple C also is pulling back in as well. There it is. It's looking bull flaggish, finding support at the 20. We're out of the money by a penny, but we did take some out there. I don't know. I'm just going to pack my patience on these two. I think they both maybe have potential. But back to CREG. Again, we work into 45s, and again, we find selling. Let's continue to watch here to see whether we can take out the top. And there it goes, Joseph. That person just got blown out. But that 50 penny area is still a staunchy little bugger. We're unable to take out that level. We'll put in a higher lows, higher highs right now. It's holding the 10 quite well. There's 48s again. There's a seller at every freaking level right now, man. So let's wet the beak up here. We're just going to take out some right there. That seller at 48, preventing us from ascending. I'm continuing to watch the 5-second chart on the top screen. Basically taking off all the orders on the gateways. There it is, 49 goes, 50's still there. Let's post here now above 50. I'm gonna wait at 53s. No, not yet. So we'll have to pack our patience on that 53. 58%, but a good name today. CREG, positive on this one, looking to do a little bit more damage as we did take a hit, sadly, on LHAI and SNGX. So we're still coming, we're still crawling from negative territory. I'm negative on the day, but working out of it. We'll see whether or not we can get positive by the time the show ends. We're gonna have to manage some of these other trades as well if we wanna stay positive because some of the other ones, LAWR, quadruple C to be exact, are kind of going against me. So not really going against me, but you know, we'll keep an eye out there. Stuart D, ICHR. Let's have a look at that. Let me flip to the 5 over here. It's going to keep this small ICHR, strong climb, he says. Oh, say more, man. This is a great looking name. Oh, baby. All right, who are we going to take off here? That garbage SNGX, ICHR. It's a bit more expensive, guys, but as you can see there, I mean, it looks like a very, very respectable chart pattern off the 10 EMA, and then bang, through $17, 17.19 high day, up about 18%. Not a bad look at all. iCore Holdings. It is technically, a sub $1 billion, $591 million market cap. Let's find out what the spread is, though, on this bad boy over here. ICHR on the NQ, yes. ICHR, NQ. 1 second, Assassino. Just want to look at the spread. 7 penny spread. Not too bad on the level 1, Joey, but if you look at the level 2, it looks like it's 5 pennies there. So we'll keep tabs on this one. Good luck. Thank you for pointing that one out.
Yes, sir. All right, savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leverage ETFs featuring the built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. So Vancouver Island, just to answer your question there, so you're seeing a lot of, I'll pull it up on the chain as well too. So look at it like this, for me personally, and this is why we use call and put walls. So I'm gonna go down to that 9. There is a substantial amount. Well, guess what? Those contracts are out of the money, right? So those are OTM contracts. And if you've been writing those out of the money for some time, well, come tomorrow, or this is the August 8th expiration cycle. I don't have anything closer dated, or August 15th, sorry. So that's 8 days away. So next Friday, if that closes above that $9 mark, well, then you just collect the full premium. So just look like, so just look at the opposite end of the trade there, right? So just keep that in mind, okay? So it's just the writers, those are looking to expire out the money, and then sure enough, if they have the ability to do so, they just collect all that premium from writing that, all right? So keep that in mind. I thought I was Vancouver Island? Joe sounds like, yeah, sorry, Vancouver Island guy, right? So, yeah, anyways, boy. Yeah, no, I'm not, to be honest with you. Joe, so the bedhead guy, ooh, you need a comb maybe. But no, I'm good. I'm just sitting here waiting, to be honest with you. And to be honest, with me putting on another trade right now, it's probably pretty low. It has to be a really, really good setup in order for me to get involved. This market is just in a steady channel to the downside. Let's display that. And this is the TQs. There was a nice hammer candle on NVDA at the lows, but there's still some selling pressure displayed in that. But just take a look at this channel right here. Right? So this is still fully intact until this is breached. Just expect that you're going to want to sell these highs, buy the lows, blah, blah, etc. So that's the channel that I'm looking at. For me, the market is just stuck in this move. So I'm going to wait until otherwise. We're going to either sit on the backside of it, see some indecision, or we're going to get some momentum or something along those lines to the downside that will add some more orderliness to this market. And that's what I'm looking for. I mean, if you want to talk about that, you can see every 5-minute candle almost hits the top end of the range and then hits the lower end. Top end, lower end, top end, lower end. It's just a continuous move in this channel. So for me, I want to see a move outside of that in order for me to get involved in the overall market.
All right, man. CREG continues to put in higher highs and higher lows. Having trouble, though, with the $0.50 level. So we know it's a 261 high a day. However, it is encountering a whole bunch of selling. So the short sellers are eyeing this one in the way that I'm eyeing it for a long. I'm just going to check on my platform here to see if it's easy to short. No, not on my platform anyway. I can't check if it's a borrow for shorts on our platform. Otherwise, I'll get out of the position. CREG, Neil, thank you. I just want to know if it's easy to borrow because there seems to be a lot of selling at every little level there. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Pay for shorts? Yeah, thanks. So pay for short situation type over here. We got a couple of prints there into 54. Now I've posted at 57s. What do we have on? 34 is a $0.50 though, as I mentioned, a bit of a tougher level there. ICHR though continues to go. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. 1730 high right now. I'm going to keep my eye on this one, but it's not really giving you any pullbacks to get in. I'd like to see how it acts at 17. The 10 EMA on the 5 right now is at 16 mid-80s. So that's what I'll keep my eye on. If it gets a bit deeper into a retracement, I'm going to be looking to buy it up off there. But I don't want to punch in at the highs. It's spready. It's a 6-penny spread at the moment. But look at it rocketing up into 40s. Now that is a new high day. I have to put this on my side chart. Otherwise, it doesn't update for whatever reason. I had the high of the day, 1737s. It's showing me 40s right now, almost there on the level 2. But look at quadruple C. Take out all my orders there. Time to wet the beak, baby, on quadruple C. How many shares do we have left on this one? Oh, we still got shares. Okay, good. we're going to wet the beak here too. So let's go ahead and post now a little bit higher. I'm going to wait at 54s. Let's see if we can get something at 56s as well. So quadruple C was lulling me to sleep, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose to the high side, and it's right above the $0.50. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Let's move back now, though, to the other one over here. Where's it at? Still having trouble with the $0.50 CREQ. We'll pack our patience on that. But it's really the ICHR show, at least for the moment. Breaking out into that new high day, 1750 now, ICHR. I really want to see a deeper retracement, and here it might come right down into 15s. It's losing the bid a little bit. Do we pick it up at 17s, guys, or do we wait for that 10 EMA in the mid-80s, mid to low 80s? Decisions, or do we get some in at 17 and then DCA into the mid-80s with a stop, maybe at the $0.75? Another possibility there. So we'll keep tabs on this one, and we'll update you if we have any positions. But I also want to bring your attention again to the IPO, now showing 72.60. So it's stair-stepping up. The theoretical auction price, the tap, 72.60. What does the imbalance locator say? Let's weasel that over. It is now a buy imbalance again, albeit very small. Only 5,700 share buy imbalance, but it keeps increasing the tap. Now, what the paired volume is, they've paired about a little bit less than 2.6 million shares so far between the buyers and the sellers prior to the open there. So we'll keep updating you on that. If you have the imbalance locator on your computer, probably helps to use it, especially if you're going to trade these IPOs, Joey. So we'll keep tabs on that, and we'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've seen, you've seen Trade the Pool with us for a while now. And now, Trade the Pool has created something special just for you, a free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on, so you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it now by scanning the QR code or on screen or hitting the link in the description. Yeah, Vancouver Island, you got me really thinking about this this Wendy's, even though we don't trade it too often. I see what you're getting at now. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. So if you're claiming that there's a lot of short interest, and that's what I'm referring to as the writers as well too. So it's squeezing right now. So from 1089 all the way to 1012. So you might be able to see a move higher. And sorry if I didn't project what I was saying earlier correctly. But yeah, this is why we're seeing this bullish price action, and thank you for pointing it out. And when you guys super chat things, it's always running through my mind just to make sure that, like, hey, am I right on this or am I wrong? But if not, it's our job for you guys to do our due diligence and kind of dig a little bit deeper, especially when you guys contribute to the chat and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been on my mind. You're right on that one. A big time hammer here there. Whoa, oh, whoa, look at this. I don't even know why I'm looking at Wendy's, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. It's a stock to trade, right? Look at this volume really kick up right here as you punch through this previous high of the day, and this could close as a potential hammer candle right there. So keep an eye out on that one, guys. Really, really nice signature. I haven't seen my guy Gorv in the chat today. I tagged him. Are you here, my friend? He's here. He's here. All right. So yeah, that would be a good play. We would probably have to get shorts for this one here, Sharif. So we'll probably just avoid that one. But yeah, AMD, Gorv, did you see the AMD signal earlier as well? This was really nice. The thing is, though, it's so strong, it's just running into key support levels. But that's a nice move, especially when the market's extremely bearish and AMD's moving in the opposite direction, and you get those prints at an extreme high. I think that's a good opportunity for a play. And then now you can see the volume start to stair step down, right? We do our TI on everything. You can even do it on your volume profile. So there it is, stair step down. If it picks up, then watch out. It could most definitely crack through that high. And if we get a rebound in this market, the NVDA and some of the bigger names want to continue to rally, watch out. Alexis on fire, watch out.
Joey, should we show them how to set up the limit on open key like we did last time?
Absolutely.
For all the traders who are trading at Real Trading and using P8, we're calling it. All right, so first things first. This is your layout right here. There's your default bar. You click that keyboard right there. So let's just do it. We'll do it live. Click the keyboard. And then, second order of business, you want to choose the correct market. So MX starts with an A. It's all in alphabetical order. You want to scroll down that list and choose the Nasdaq. And then I have my key farther down. I have it at Shift M. You can do whatever you want. As long as it allows you to do it, choose it. So here's what I got. So I put Shift M for my limit on open, okay? So you double click that bad boy, and here are the settings, okay? So you're choosing buy side, your destination is on Nasdaq, and then your order type is LU, limit on open. You'll see that there's a bunch of other ones, market on open, MU, market on close, market on open, limit on close, limit on open. So what you want is the limit on open. And then you can set a variance, right? Plus or minus. To me, I'm just gonna leave it because I'm gonna put my limit price far higher than what the theoretical auction price is showing. And then once you've selected all that, right, you hit OK, and then make sure to hit that apply, otherwise it doesn't save the settings. And then go over here, click into the level 2, obviously, and then we'll do Shift M, and there it is. It opens up my price, and then I can put my shares there as well. So make sure you set up that key if you're going to trade these. If you're going to trade this IPO, market on open typically doesn't work. The boys were trying to use it last time. It didn't work. The limit on open key is the one that worked. We were getting error messages when we set market on opens. So here it is again, the tap 72.52 keeps increasing the theoretical auction price. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Very excited to see how this IPO is, man. It feels like IPO season, man, especially after being dry AF for a minute. You know what I mean?
It was dry
Your friend Biden there in the wrath of Lena Khan was putting a damper on all this stuff.
Watch out for Lena. She'll obviously open up all those antitrust against you with no issue whatsoever.
I actually watched the Wrath of Khan, like 20 minutes of it, like on the weekend for the first time. And like that's what we're talking about, the Wrath of Lena Khan, right? The Wrath of Khan. And I actually learned what that, Dara, what is it called again? Kobayashi Maru, or what is it again? Am I saying it right? Kobayashi? Okay, Kobayashi Maru, which I didn't understand what the expression was. It's like a lose-lose situation. So I understood now because they had to go save them from that neutral zone thing or Majig or whatever. Because I had only heard about this whole thing, Wrath of Khan, Kobayashi Maru, all in the Big Bang Theory, because they always reference Star Trek. But I had never actually watched Star Trek myself.
Yeah,
any of them.
I never was a fan of Star Trek.
Neither am I. I love space, but like it's all made up, right? Like,
I love gold.
I love gold.
Adrian, 350.01. I lost more than 100K. I had 10K and lost 6K short. Market yesterday. Now 5K left. Super painful. Mid-age, over-leveraged, oversized. Yeah, brother. Chin up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chin up. Learn from your mistakes, right? It doesn't matter what you do. At the end of the day, you got to just learn from your mistakes, and sure enough, you'll be in a better place. So it's unfortunate. You'll get it back. A good friend of mine the other day said it's just money. So obviously, a substantial amount. You don't want to lose. That's your trading account. Probably took you some time to save it. Now just respect it a little bit more. All right. So yeah. Yeah, and set your stop losses most definitely, right? Because everything most definitely isn't going to work in your favor, and you don't want to be over leveraged. So just keep that in mind, okay? You'll be all right. I know you will. So yeah, AMD, NVDA. What else do we got? Let's go over to this quantum space, QBTS. See what that. Let's go Bitmine as well too. That's looking pretty good. QBTS. It's all right. D-Wave doing okay, so not too bad. Little choppy, though. You can see the ebbs and flows in this, just up, down, up, back down, lower, high here. So, yeah, just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Let's go Oscar.
What's it doing, Katina, man?
Oscar Health.
It's up 6%.
It's up 6%. Here's Oscar Health.
Up bigly.
Up bigly here. So there it is, guys. Nice base right at 1474, heading towards that high of the day. So let's go, Oscar. Let's go, Katina, man.
I like it. All right, Joey Options. We weaseled into ICHR like a psycho. So we already got one beak wetter there. Where are we in? We're at 05s. Let's see if this one holds. I've given it to where I see support at 80s. It's holding up off the 10. It's got a hammer candle, but I don't think we're in the clear quite yet. So let's leave this one. It's a spready one. It's a slow one, but it's got a good chart pattern. Let's see if that continues. Otherwise, we take a hit. It's simple as that. It's about putting the odds in your favor. Also, I want to mention CREG, CREG. This one broke down. It's lost VWAP. Now, it doesn't mean it can't regain VWAP. So I did get out break even. Actually, that's not true. I lost 3 pennies on the remaining amount on this one. So we did scalp out nicely, but it did come back into that level. And that's where I said, sayonara. I got out of that bad boy. Now it's trying to hold up at the volume weighted average price. We'll see if it does or doesn't. If it does and shows me some higher highs and higher lows, we'll work back in. Otherwise, no go. Okay, so that's the situation there. Let's go ahead and have a look at some others. LAWR seems to be putting now some higher lows and higher highs. It is still having trouble with that mid to high twos. We've gone unprinted here at 207 for a hot minute, but it did put in a higher low, and you could obviously tell because my entry is lower than this area trough over here. It doesn't mean we're in the clear though. Quadruple C spiked up super nice, took out some levels, got above 50 for all of 10 seconds, and then dropped right back down. So it's holding prior area resistance, now hopefully support. I'm talking about the mid to high 240s. We'll see if it can work its way back above 50 so we can look for a couple of prints there showing me 46s at the moment. Wow, CREQ is really losing the bid there, so I'm happy that I got out. Look at it, absolutely dropping aggressively below VWAP. Now trying to hold two. I'm not going to trade it down here, certainly, but we will keep tabs on it in case it does regain that volume weighted average price. So that's all I've got here, Joey Options. I mean, there's not much to report on at the moment. We're in 3 positions. They're all doing okay, saving except for ICHR, where we're out of the money, but we still haven't gotten stopped out of this one, so I'll pack my patience on that.
Yeah, good look there. So Juan, yeah, let's take a look at this Tesla here for you, my friend. There goes AMD. Punching on the lower end of that consolidation. So there it is, nice move higher, cooling volume, and then you can see it step in. Now we're running right into that resistance zone that could possibly act as support. So keep an eye out on that there. AMD not looking too bad. And then as for Tesla, see the thing is though, I traded this, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday or something along, I think it was Monday to be honest with you. And yeah, it just wasn't good. For me personally, you just gotta wait for something specific to come out in this name. It's the same as Apple kind of, you're just kind of consolidating right now, but all it takes is a little spark and this thing can just absolutely start to go nuts. But price is really compressed. Wait for it to break in a specific direction. The chances of a catalyst coming out at the time of the breakout are probably pretty high because it's just how the market works. But at the end of the day, lots of price compression. You have this wedge being formed. In order for me to want to get involved in this and look for some potential swing or intraday trades, it's on top of this 330 level, making that move higher. I thought this was going to be the move considering, I don't know if this was earnings. Was it earnings maybe possibly? Yeah, I think so. Or something along those lines, right? Deliveries possibly, but this is what I thought. I thought this was going to be enough liquidity in order for us to break through this key 366 pivot, but it failed to do so, put in a lower high and then just been trading within this range. So just keep an eye out on this specific price consolidation because anything can happen from that point. It can go to the downside or to the top side. I more or less would put my money to the top side just because it's Tesla, right? So yeah, keep an eye out on that one there, Juan. Hopefully that helped you. But intraday, I haven't seen even Katina Man traded in a while, and I know that's a fan favorite of his. And you know, I could be wrong. Tesla?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, a day or two. He maybe traded it earlier in the week, but I know that he likes to trade that one for sure. Oscar Health looking not too bad. So way to point that one out. And there, bang, there it is. So there is Ethereum as well too, still just stuck in this zone. Really choppy PA, a lot of overlap within the price action. And just because I enter it doesn't mean it's going to change. And I don't want to be all jacked up off of hopium, thinking that considering that now that I'm in it, it's going to change its narrative. So just keep it in mind. Lots of overlapping and no specific clean trend where you're having these pullbacks. It's just within the range, like the channel that we displayed earlier on NVDA. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully that works out. Who knows, anything can happen. Ether was moving nice in the post-market yesterday and in the after hours in the nighttime. So I was happy to see that we were going to go test that key level around 3,800, 3,900. If it does have the ability to break that, I think it's going to take that next leg higher. And we're still not even really close to those all-time highs. Let's pull up the actual underlying here. And let's get into it from a daily standpoint. That's not the previous, is it? Yeah, okay. So yeah, there it is, right? So that's a keep it. $4,300 is a level to keep an eye out on. But here we are currently trading 13% off of that specific level. That's why I like holding this for a little while, just in case we want to go and test that. Shout out the Genius Act.
All right, sounds good, man. Just looking at my positions over here. Let's talk about this one, quadruple C. Still ranging in the same area, but I did wet the beak here on LAWR as it continues to kind of trend up a little bit above that $2 area. Nothing to write home about. And I did add Full disclosure into ICHR as it came in to that 80 penny area. I need to see it hold up above $0.75. Otherwise, that's going to be the end of the trade. We've got 97s on. It's showing me 96. I'm looking at wetting the beak at 705. Tell them what's good, Adara.
I will, Sharif. Keep an eye here on CMG. Thank you to the chat for making me aware of this. This is actually getting a big pop, as you can see earlier, and still trading a little bit higher. Stephanie Link announcing on CNBC that she added to her Chipotle position. Apparently, let's take a look at USAR. I'm just seeing as well. Apparently, Altucher, I guess I got a bit of a move earlier, but now getting another move. Altucher, which basically James Altucher writes a newsletter. Apparently, he's talking about how USAR could be an all-in buy. Back to you.
Right away.
Right away. Right, straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Overcook, undercook?
Straight to jail.
Right
You
away.
play the music too loud?
Jail.
Jail.
He's like, yeah, if you cancel on a dental appointment, if you cancel on that, jail, right away.
My sister would be pumped about that. She hates people who cancel.
Oh, she's a dentist,
Oh, goodness.
right?
Yeah. She's okay.
Right away. Jail right away. For
All
those who
right.
remember that.
Let's have a look quickly, guys, at the tap on this one. Dropping a little bit over here, down to 72 now. Not by much. Let's check the imbalance and see how we're doing here on the imbalances. We're still a buy imbalance at 72 with about 15,000 shares. The paired volume working its way up incrementally now above 2.8 million paired shares. Again, if you weren't here earlier, that the paired volume is the buy and sell orders that come in as limit on open, limit on close, or sell on open. Yeah, buy limit on open, sell limit on open. It pairs all of them, and then you get the paired volume right there. So we'll keep tabs and see how over or under subscribed this IPO is. I also want to bring to your attention a new small cap gapper that's kind of worked its way onto the scene. Thank you, Urban Trader, for pointing this one out. I didn't have eyes on this one, and nor is it parabolic. There hasn't really been any parabolic ones today. There's been some decent ones. HL is the ticker. This one really started running, looks like, in the aftermarket yesterday around 4:30. Not sure if it's an earnings winner. It did nothing. It held the levels in the pre-market, then came the open today at 9:30, and then there was an aggressive buy up. It did lose VWAP momentarily at around 11:45, so I don't want to base any of my trades really on VWAP, and nor do I really see obvious areas of price action support and resistance. That's the thing. Like, what the hell is this? $7 area? Okay, so it's a psychological area of support. Fantastic. I wouldn't have been trading it down there, though, because it would have been below VWAP. So I don't know how I feel about this one. It's clearly got something going over here with a range maybe at 7 1/3, 7 1/4 to the high side, with maybe 7.05, 7.07 to the low side with this outlying area over here. So HL, yeah, it's in focus, but it's certainly not my favorite. But we'll keep it up there because, well, I guess, as I mentioned, the pickings are slim. Let's go back to quadruple C. Still showing me 45, still holding the 10 EMA. But there it is, LAWR working a little bit higher here. We're going to wet the beak here as well, see if we can take off some more. How's this other trade doing? ICHR, we're still about 7 pennies out of the money on this one. I'm looking for this one to hold the 10 EMA and then work its way back above 17. If it doesn't, we're out below $0.75, Joey.
Yes, sir. Look at, there it goes. NVDA. It's gone now. And it's gone. Yeah, AMD heading towards VWAP as well, too. Adair, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye here on META pushing into low of days. The information reporting that apparently OpenAI is now paying bonuses ranging up to millions of dollars to thousands of their researchers and engineers, potentially in an attempt to keep people at the company, as Meta has been poaching a lot of staff. META, again, pushing lower here. OpenAI reporting that, the information reporting that OpenAI is paying apparently up to millions of dollars of bonuses to thousands or 1,000 researchers and engineers. So some large bonuses being paid apparently by OpenAI to some of their employees as this META AI takeover continues to take effect. Keep an eye on Meta. If I have more details on this, I'll let you know. But it's worth noting, I read a rumor or speculation to this effect earlier today. So it's not new, but this report from the information is. Back to you.
Yeah, we're going to take a hit on that one. ICHR is going to stop out here if it loses. Yeah, okay. So we're going to get stopped out. No, sad. It's okay. Yeah, can't run them all. Anyway, 1750 high. It's well off the highs now. So if it loses that 70 penny area, we've got our out at 69er. So if it does that, we're out. Simple as that. Let's move on to the next one over here. Let's keep an eye out on LAWR as it continues to hang out near highs and quadruple C. Same story. If you guys are seeing any new small cap gappers working their way onto the scene, please do not hesitate to tag me so that I do have notice of them and then we can cover them and maybe even trade them. Right now I'm just having a look at my scanner and there's nothing really for me on there. I see NRGV possibly working its way into the area highs. Let's load up that bad boy. NRGV is the ticker. Let's load it up. Not bad. 157 high, stair stepping up, generally holding the 10, a few shekels off the high and looking to take out a $1.57. I'll keep my eye on that as well. JIMA, I've had my eye on basically all day, Mr. Butter, but it's putting in lower highs. I know these names are great, Katina, man. Putting in lower highs, but it is generally holding VWAP in your defense, Mr. Butter. So I don't like it because it's more of a range trade and it's also breached VWAP a bunch of times. But NRGV is not a bad looker over here. So it really is going to come down to who I take off because we're running out of room. I'm going to take off LHAI because that one I'm negative on and it pissed me off. No, I'm kidding. NRGV, we're going to keep that one on the side chart. I like the chart pattern on this one. So if we can possibly work into some positions on NRGV and it's a little cheaper, so we can certainly size in here on this bad boy. Yeah, I just got stopped out of ICHR. Sucks to be me. Broke below 69. So we'll take a hit on that one. And it's quite a large hit as well. So we will go negatory on the day because we did add nicely into this position. But yeah, they didn't hold up. Add here, add at the 10, add at 17, add at the 10, and then it loses the 10 and the 20. So I had to draw the line somewhere. So we'll look to do a little bit better, Joey. What do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Mr. Duckets, for sure. There you go. I was going to type it, but there you go. You just heard me say it, so I agree with you on that one. All right, guys. Yeah, let's get right into some of this earnings stuff here. We're going to go over some expected moves, take a gander on the chain to see if we see anything that pops in that attracts our eye. All right. So tonight we have the trade desk. We went over this Rocket Lab, SoundHound, NewScale, Kronos, and then obviously Block as well, Pinterest, and then the other one, Twilio, I guess, Take Two as well. And I don't even know what that one is there. But so let's move forward here and get into that one. Oops. And this is what we want to hop into. Thank you for holding on that there, my friend Assassino. Where's the other thing that I want to find? All right, so TTD, the trade desk. Let's find our expected move on this one. TTD. All right, so we have an expected move of 12.7% at the money IV through the roof, all right? So we're going to have a high of around $98.54 and a low of around $76.59 on TTD. Anything that attracts our eye on the options chain, let's take a look for open interest and what we have outstanding right now on TTD. And 90, at that 90 strike price, what is our high here of around 98.80? Let's head into that realm, nothing substantial, obviously not an overly liquid underlying, okay? So that's TTD. Now we got SoundHound. What's SoundHound up to? SoundHound AI, it has AI in the word, so there it goes. It might be a solid one. 13.5% expected move. Again, the at the money IV, skyrocketing options markets, very smart individuals. They're gonna price you out of those calls. We went over this with somebody the other day as why you don't buy in after earnings. You sell after earnings, okay? So 13.5% expected move with a high of around $11.99 and a low of around $9.14. We'll do one more. Give me 1 second. RKLB. This is going to give us a 13.7% expected move. Really high IV, high of around 49.12. Oh, that's not the wrong one. So 11.1% expected, 260 at the money IV, $47.96, a potential high with a low of around $38.42. Adara, what do you got for us?
Get it, Adara.
Yeah, so to let you guys know, as we get this market at day's lows, we have the bond auction, the 30-year bond auction to be specific, coming up. That'll be at 1 p.m. We're going to get that 30-year bond auction. Usually what we're going to be looking for is the high yield, not the previous print, which is 4.889%, but the print that we have right before the auction comes out. Now, it's worth noting, yesterday I didn't actually get that print. I usually see it come through an X. Yesterday I didn't. But if I do see what the 30-year bond yield is right before the auction, I will absolutely let you guys know. Back to you.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. It's so Toronto. Oh my God.
Yeah,
The Toronto
can't
man.
stand
Toronto
it.
man.
I can't
accent.
stand
Oh
it. Yeah, I
man.
can't
It's not for
stand
me.
it.
Yay.
Yeah. Remember that
Yay.
Toronto accent girl that they was going around for a while?
Which one?
She was just a girl. She was just known for like super thick,
Oh,
Toronto accent.
yeah. I can't say, you know, what kind of character she is because the word is a little triggering. But yes, I'll tell you off camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Heavy makeup and pulled back hair.
I think so. Yeah.
I know exactly.
It's
who you're
just like,
talking
no,
about
now
there.
you're just kind of doing it to do it. So, I mean, you don't want to do that. Anyways, pins. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's brutal. The Toronto street
Toronto
accent.
man
Yeah. It's
Goodness.
horrible. 10.4% expected move, 22.6% at the money IV, with a high of around $42.71, low of around $34.70. Okay, so SMR, we can do that one. SMR. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, cybersecurity names are getting
Slacked. Everything's getting slacked
the
right now,
downside
my
right
brother,
now.
man. Everything is getting beaten to a pulp. 9.9%, 223% at the money IV, $48.33 as a potential high, $39.66 on that one. XYZ. Let's go and take a look at this one. 9.5% expected move at the money, extremely high again. IV, that is $83.57. Potential high, $69.05. Potential low. Now we got one. We'll do two more. That's going to be Twillo and take two. Let's take a look at TWLO. There it is. So TWLO, 13.2% expected move, 287% at the money IV, insane. $136.14 as a potential high, and then we have $104 as a potential low. Now we're gonna go over this final one, and see what we got going on. So 5.4% expected move. This one's relatively cool. 121% at the money IV. $235.86 as a potential high. $211 as a potential low. And that is going to be your implied and expected moves on this evening's earnings report, guys.
All right, we're going to start the news, Joey.
Yes, sir.
Because it is a slow day today in small cap Grapper world. I'm looking. Other than NRGV, there's really nothing other than the positions, obviously, I'm in that I like. So let's get to work. There's a whole lot to cover today on the news. So let's get right down to business, baby. Let me just load this up so we're good to go and make this screen maximize so Assassino likes what he sees there. There we go. Let's talk about Taiwan Semi. Kind of overlaps a little bit with the next topic, but Taiwan Semi, at least until recently, was up nicely on the day. I think it was up 4 some odd percent in the pre. Where is it at right now? I can't even find Taiwan Semi. Where's my? Oh, there it is. 4 3/4. So not too bad, but it is red since the bell rang. Is that right? TSM? Yeah, it's down about 1.1% since the bell. So it was up nicely, largest one-day gain for Taiwan Semi in 3 months. The rally really was sparked off by U.S. tariffs exemption announcement for companies investing in the U.S. So it'll make a lot more sense when we get to the next topic because there's more details on that about Donald Trump's exemptions. But here's just a very basic explanation. Donald Trump proposing 100% tariffs on all chips imported into the United States. However, he's drawing out some exceptions. And those exceptions are going to be for companies with U.S. manufacturing investments. Oh, what are we doing here, Katina, man? We're dipping. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't take it. Yeah, I didn't take it. I figured Figma was oversubscribed because of AI, right?
Yeah.
But here we go. Fly is open, so we're going to pause the news for a second. Fly so high, you know me. Let's go. There's a seller at 70. He's taken out. He's getting taken out. Nope. Hidden order. Can't take it out. What a drop down that was, Katina, man. That's 70.
I lost 75 cents.
The Katina man lost 75 cents. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket for the Katina man. We all know that. But the deal is that 70 seller Katina man, he's a staunchy little bugger. Look how many times we're working in. And there it goes. He gets taken out. Oh, no. All right, so trade this one carefully, guys. It's zagging. It's zagging. It doesn't look like it's got a direction at the moment. Wow. Right? Yeah, it's not tradable, says the Katina man. I mean, I would have to agree unless you're going to give this like $5, $10 worth of room. Yeah, have at it. But to me, it ain't the vibe at the moment. FLY on the NQ, guys. That's the one we're talking about. It's already oversubscribed because the IPO price was 43. up from a prior, I think, 39 or some 38, something like that range to 40. So right now it does seem like it's selling. It doesn't seem like it has that, gung-ho direction like Figma had, Joey. So we'll keep tabs on that. And Katina, man, keep me updated, brother. If it starts breaking out, interrupt me so that we can cover it. So just to go back to the news here, Joseph, the move is seen, obviously, these 100% tariffs as a move by Donald Trump and the administration to pressure firms to reshore critical supply chain manufacturing for the chip industry. Taiwan Semi, Foxconn, they all stand to benefit because they all have U.S. investments. For example, TSMC, they pledged $100 billion to build up U.S. chip manufacturing. Foxconn as well will also benefit from Apple's $100 billion investment. More to come on that. The analyst takeaways here are a little bit mixed. They expect tariffs to be used as leveraged, obviously, in trade talks, not an immediate threat. So we'll wait to see whether these 100% tariffs on, imports likely coming from Taiwan, China, and Southeast Asia are just a temporary threat to strike better trade deals with these originating countries, or they're a legitimate thing that's tanking. So Katina Man says it's $64 now. We're talking about Fly. Some uncertainties, though, Joey. Key unknowns. What counts as a semiconductor? How easily can exemptions be obtained or lost? And the companies may qualify for exemption by starting U.S. builds, even if they're not producing anything quite yet, just a matter of actually investing in the infrastructure. So a lot of unknowns, Joseph, but interesting take on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like take a look at TSM. From those April lows, up 84%. And it's the same thing that we've been going over from a technical standpoint here, guys, right? So you're now on the backside of this trend, and then look at this beautiful retest right here, Sharif, of that backside. So just be cautious on what's going on, even though that is slightly, I think that's bullish for the name. At the end of the day, you just got to listen to what the technos are telling you. They want to sell this off a little bit more, then sure enough, if you do have the ability to sit on the backside of this trend once again and sit on top of this range, then you might be able to go. But for now, just wait for this.
I just want to add a little bit more, Joey, before we get to Adair. Sorry, Adair, I'm just going to combine these next two pieces because there's a lot of overlap right there. So in terms of, pledging investment, Taiwan Semi pledged $165 billion to build chip manufacturing. NVIDIA plans to spend $500 billion in U.S. AI infrastructure over the next 4 years. Global Foundries, GFS, they're committed to $16 billion to expand their New York and Vermont plants. And as I think that's John Del Segno in the chat there, but your name is different. Texas Instruments as well, $60 billion to expand across 7 U.S. fabs. So there's a lot of stuff. A lot of companies are looking to promise a lot of money in the investment. And over 130 semiconductor-related projects totaling about $600 billion have been announced in the United States alone since 2020. So not just recently. This overlaps with the Biden administration as well. Companies that can prove domestic commitment stand to benefit from tariff exemptions. Adara, sorry to keep you waiting, but I just want to add that last little part in there.
Wild press conference, just all around, upside, downside. I was trying to find a photo of the bizarre little gold base that that Tim Cook gave for Donald Trump. Like, he pulls it out, he's got the little gold disc. As you and Brennan were saying this morning, it's a very apropos gift for Trump, who, and I'm not joking, once spent at least 10 minutes off the top of my head during a cabinet meeting yapping about, and I'm very serious, about the gold trims in one of the White House room. So that's like a really real thing. That's besides the point, though. The point is AAPL. Like, I just think, honestly, they have their hands in far too many pies. They still have not figured out the AI thing, which obviously not directly related, but I wonder if they're spreading themselves a bit too thin. Just they've got so much going on. Now they're donating another $100 billion, which again, how is this going to really be implemented?
And Adara, I want to add on to your point there, because a lot of people always say, oh, it's Apple, they have so much cash on hand. Not really, Adara. On the last conference call, Timmy C said they had about $150 billion in cash, but they had $100 billion in debt. So they were really only sitting, and I say only relative to Apple. They're only sitting on 50 billion cash, but they're obviously committing 100 billion in addition to the 500. So you feel they're either going to take on debt or there's going to be some sort of raising there in some way.
Yeah, this might not be a great look for Tim Cook a couple years down the line, just this commitment. I think also the big thing here is the fact that this pledge is not even really going to get them to the point where they can manufacture iPhones in the U.S. You could tell Tim Cook did not want to say that to Trump's face, but he was like, well, we'll manufacture parts of things in the U.S. for the phones. And it's like, Ming-Chi Kuo called it yesterday. They're not going to do the phones in the U.S. If that's what Trump wants, that's their biggest physical product, that's not really going to work out. I think it's kind of a mixed look for that reason.
Bang on. Yeah, we'll get to Apple in a sec, but yeah, I feel like a lot of this chip bounce had a lot to do with Apple. But Apple's got its own little thing here, so we'll get to that. But let's talk about the reciprocal tariffs. They take effect today. So what happened? So Trump's reciprocal tariffs officially took effect, Thursday, targeting countries he says have taken advantage of the U.S. He celebrated the launch with an all caps Truth Social post saying billions of dollars in tariffs are now flowing into the United States. Here's what we're expecting. Get it, Donald. So Syria getting slapped with 41%, Laos and Myanmar 40%, Switzerland, more on that in a second, 39%. Those are among the highest, but Brazil, Assassino, you see that one? Brazil, 50% already active, with India likely rising to 50 as well, 25% tariff now, another 25 getting slapped on later this month as a result of them buying Russian oil. We'll have to see if India, how they manage that. Switzerland, they started panicking, like I panicked when my screen went out. And they came in for last-minute talks, Adara, to avoid these steep tariffs, but nothing really happened. We'll get to that in a sec. Who got deals, though? Who got the best deals? The EU, Japan, South Korea all landed 15%, with England looking like they got like the cream of the crop right now. Somehow they got 10%, reflecting a separate trade agreement. China and Mexico kind of remain in limbo. They're still negotiating with China, and they kicked the can down the road 90 days for Mexico, as he spoke to Claudia Sheinbaum. President Claudia Sheinbaum, and she got a 90-day extension. So here's the deal with Switzerland. So they were caught off guard by these 39% tariffs. So Swiss officials rushed to D.C. for talks, but they still, as of now, at least, have not reached a deal. Zurich-based Porta Advisors says Switzerland must adapt quickly and build their own economic dependence, much like what Canada is doing. And the analysts view this, they say, in a world run by three superpowers, Joseph, others must be flexible and resilient.
Well,
easy to say.
Yeah, very, very easy to say. Yeah. Well, I mean, we know consumer sentiment is cooling off as well, too, Sharif. Not only that, we're going to look at tariffs as a consumption task. Donald said this morning, hey, we're raking in billions and billions of dollars in tariffs. But what if the consumer starts to cool off and you're not consuming as much and you're not exporting and importing as much product? You're not going to continuously bring in that revenue. So for me personally, I'm curious to see what we see in the near future with these tariffs, Sharif.
All right, Adara, these tariffs are very vast. They're very wide, depending on the country of origin. Anything to make you know about the state of the tariffs? Maybe take a look at China, India. What's your look overall?
Well, I think China and India, if they do get deals, it's going to be a long way off. We do know that we had Trump himself yesterday refusing to name the countries during when Tim Cook came to visit. Like he said, oh, you've been giving a lot of money to other countries, but I'm not going to name them. That's clearly Apple or China and India, right? So I think there is still some tension there, not just because of the Apple investment. Obviously, I think it's a multifaceted issue. But I think, and now, they're dealing with the thing up here right now. They're touching stuff, so I can't really press the button.
No problem.
But I will say, too, that I think, if they can resolve the Russia oil issue, that might lead to some easing of tensions with India. That might help us with India tariffs.
Well said.
China, I think, is its whole own beast. They've now done 2 separate negotiation meetings in Europe. And right now, I mean, I don't think Trump's going to start saying China in like a better light anytime soon, unless we maybe get that meeting between Xi and Trump, because we know negotiators on both sides have said that might be what you need.
Thank you for that, Adara. Guys, we are halted to the upside on Fly. 57.16% now halted higher. 70.72 is the halt level, the halt time. 101.46. You will add 5 minutes to that time. That will be the earliest opening time. It doesn't mean it will open in 5 minutes off that time, but they come in waves of 5. So if it doesn't open at 106.46, it likely will open 5 minutes subsequent to that, and then you keep adding waves of 5. So FLY halted to the upside. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, let's talk about Apple specifically now. We're going to talk about AAPL. They plan to spend an additional $100 billion over 4 years on U.S. suppliers and companies. That adds to the $500 billion that they already committed back in February. So it's a total of $600 billion by 2029. Your boy Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, said the goal here is to build end-to-end U.S. supply chain. We'll see what he means by that. And here's who they're working with. So they're, as I mentioned earlier, they're launching the American Manufacturing Program, and they're partnering with Corning. They're going to build the iPhone glass in Kentucky. Coherent, they're using Coherent for the Face ID lasers. Global Wafers, Applied Materials, Texas Instruments, Samsung, Global Foundries, Amkor, and Broadcom all will be working with Apple in terms of chips and wafers. And they plan to manufacture about 19 billion chips in the U.S. this year, including at TSMC's Arizona and Global Foundries plant out in New York. We're going to pause for a second. Adara has something for us.
I just want to let you guys know, sorry, I was just dealing with some technical issues, so I wasn't able to get this to you guys. The 30-year bond auction is in high yield prior to the auction, 4.792%. The actual auction here, the high yield coming in at I was seeing 4.813%, so slightly higher than what the number that we had right before the auction came out, guys. Market moving a bit lower. The Nasdaq's been pretty volatile here. Back to you.
For that, Adara. So let's talk about the facility expansion as well. So they're, with respect to Corning, they're going to spend about $2.5 billion building out that facility or expanding it out in Kentucky. Additional tools will be installed at the Texas Instrument factories, both in Utah and in Texas. And they're in Apple's building AI servers, not just in Texas. They're building out data centers in North Carolina, Iowa, Nevada, and Oregon. So it's like a, very, very distributed picture there for Apple. And the exemptions here will be exactly as we described. Trump announced that Apple will be exempt from that 100% chip tariff due to its U.S. investments. And Apple avoids as well, very importantly, India tariff hike. So that 50% getting slapped on India later this month, Apple will also avoid that because the majority of U.S. iPhones, or the iPhones that come into the U.S., Joey, most of them, not all, most of them coming from India now. So that would have been a big margin compression.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I noted before is that it was a while ago when I started to see Apple move into India, which is a good positive sign. They're one of the bigger, the larger companies, the Mag 7, one of the first to step foot into India, and you're starting to see that pay off now. And if they can really open the door to that emerging market, I think it's going to be a positive sign, because if they start to see iPhone growth in India as well too, that can add a lot to the earnings per share.
Absolutely. Adara, you kind of gave us your look about Apple. Too many hands in too many cookie jars over here. But what's your take about this expansion of this American manufacturing program they're talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I honestly kind of want to look at it from the POV of some of the other companies involved, because we have Corning here, GLW, just kind of sold off at the open, didn't do anything. I was thinking of maybe we don't think about this as an Apple story. We think of this as a story for other companies involved. It doesn't really seem like it's that either. So yeah, I mean, from a stock perspective, I have to be honest, this is kind of a hard story to chew into. I think with regards to the expansion, much like everything with Apple, I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And I think the thing is, too, the stakes are very high, because Trump has said if you don't actually build and you say you're going to build, you might still face tariffs. So be careful, Apple.
Exactly. Well said, Adara. This is your one of your stories coming up here. Eli Lilly reporting earnings. Was it this morning or yesterday? This morning, thank you. They raised guidance, crushed earnings, but their shares slide on weak obesity pill data. We'll get to that in a second. Here's what they did on earnings. Earnings per share came in at $6.31, easily beating the $5.57 expected by the street. That's a monster beat there. On revenue of $15.56 billion. Again, easily beating the 14.71 expected and growing earnings at 38% year over year. Net income, Joey, $5.66 billion in that take-home money, or if you want to convert it to earnings per share, about $6.29. Easily beating what they did last year on the quarter, which was $2.97 billion, just shy of that $3 billion profit. And their U.S. sales grew substantially, 38% year over year, printing about $10.81 billion in sales in the United States, driven by a 46% bump in prescription volume, mostly from Mounjaro and Zepbound, their two biggest drugs there. Now with full year guidance being raised here, they did talk about their full year revenue guidance for 2025. They raised that from the prior 58 to 61 billion, now up to 60 to 62 billion, with adjusted EPS also growing. They guided earlier 20.78 to 22.28. Now it's up 21.75 to 23. The guidance, though, very, very key here, guys. The increase in the full year guidance does not include the proposed tariffs by Donald Trump on pharmaceuticals, which I think he's floated at a possible 100%. We'll have to wait and see. So that does not include the headwind from tariffs. Now let's talk about their drug performance. So Zepbound and Mounjaro. So Zepbound, they're both GLP-1s, but Zepbound's really for weight loss. Mounjaro's for diabetes, but they are the same active ingredient. Both beat Q2 Wall Street sales estimates, and the volume strength here offset some of the lower prices that they had to take. So volume offsetting pressure. And the issue, the only really bad thing here was the obesity pill. A lot of people don't like needles. They don't want to take that once a week injection, Joey. So they'd rather take a one, I don't know, I think it's once a week or once a day, a pill. So a lot of people have been waiting for a GLP-1 pill. And this one here, orforglipron, was a late stage trial, but the data didn't show that good. So people lost about 12% of their weight while on it, but that was below the street's expectations. So it led to a bit of a sell-off. And also, I heard, I didn't read this in the morning, but I heard it by Becky Quick on Squawk Box in the morning. She's like, a lot of people actually higher than normal discontinued use because it gives you gastrointestinal issues. And we knew that was part of the GLP-1 kind of side effects, but this one seemed to be a bit worse, Joey.
A bit worse. Yeah. I can't believe the street has estimates on the percentage of body fat that you're going to lose on that. And if you miss that, that is insane. But yeah, what did you think? If it sounds too good to be true, the chances are there's going to be some side effects to that. As for Eli Lilly, we were talking about this earlier in the day as well. You gap through some key support levels, and then sure enough, that momentum to the downside is still being sustained. So you want to wait for any form of indecision around these lows in order to get involved in this name to the long side. But right now, you miss on that expectation of how much weight you could potentially lose, which I think is almost borderline absurd. But at the end of the day, you got to take it for what the street thinks. And sure enough, Eli Lilly, massive gap down, and it looks like it wants to continue to the south side. All
right, Adara, this is one of Jimmy Carter's picks. Can we see a turnaround coming in the next little while?
For the sake of my Jimmy Carter pick, I really hope so, because it's this and UNH are really they're not looking great right now. My one saving grace is Boeing, which is never a great look to be your saving grace. But all that being said, in terms of Eli Lilly, like, I have this infographic. I posted this yesterday on X at TTV Research. This is like its revenue growth from 2000 to 2024. And as you can see, these last 3 years, we had a really notable uptick, and that's when we started getting these GLP-1s. So here's the thing. Obviously, these weight loss drugs have been great for the company, but I think if you have an issue where people either stop using them or you see a decrease in the use, I don't know what that does to Lilly's revenue, if I'm being honest. I think that this whole GLP issue is a kind of a make it or break it for Lilly, and it's always kind of rough to have an entire company live or die in one thing. What I will say, they're doing much better than their pals Novo, because Novo Nordisk is like, that stock is struggling. The company is struggling. They have a new CEO now, and their CREQ Semi weight loss drug cannot get off the ground. So I honestly don't think this is that. I think hopefully it's just a blip for Lilly.
And the pharmaceutical tariffs, I don't know if they have any manufacturing capacity in the United States. I didn't look that up, Adara, but like they increased their guidance, but specifically they said this guidance increase is predicated upon tariffs remaining the same. So that could fundamentally change. So there's another possible headwind here if Donald wakes up on the wrong side of the bed or something, or he brings up the 100% tariffs or whatever they're going to be ahead of schedule.
But I have something on that, Sharif, because much like Pfizer, Eli Lilly has the benefit of having its CEO be tight with Trump.
Oh.
The CEO of Eli Lilly was one of the 3 CEOs, Lilly, Pfizer, and Regeneron, that had their tariff letters changed,
Nice.
literally scratched out with Trump's Sharpie, and then had the guy's first name written. So it was addressed to Mr. David.
Get it, David.
Ricks is the CEO of Lilly. So I'm like, that to me is a sign that Lilly, Pfizer, and Regeneron, of all of the pharmaceutical names, are in the best position to maybe make these tariff deals. These CEOs are putting in work. They were visiting Trump at Mar-a-Lago prior to the inauguration.
Yeah.
They've been meeting with him in the White House. Lilly's also investing in the U.S., Sharif, and that's another angle, I think, with regards to
I like it. And just like offhand, think about this, Joey, as well. Chime in if you want. Think about this. Like, how much is the U.S. spending in Medicare and Medicaid for diseases that the precursor for was obesity, which led to whatever onset disease that was. So if you can kind of, maybe subsidize these GLP-1s, reduce everybody's mass a little bit, and kind of help weed out some of these diseases that come as a result of weight gain, this could be actually accretive for the United States in some way.
That's a good point, yeah.
All right. Let's go on to the next topic over here, Joey. I like this one. I know you're going to like this one as well. New EO expected today, a new executive order by your friend Donald. And he's going to be allowing, hopefully, private equity, crypto, real estate, alternatives all into, yes, your 401k accounts, which for whatever reason are still not allowed. It aims to unlock the $12.5 trillion in the 401k account market that's currently present in the United States. And the order directs the Labor Department to revise guidance under the ERISA laws to support the alternative asset inclusion. It's going to be the Labor Secretary to coordinate with the SEC and with Treasury and other regulators as well. And the SEC specifically here will be asked to facilitate what they're calling participant-directed access to these alternative investments. But there are risks, and let's talk about them. So advocates argue, here's a good, that these alt assets offer higher return potential and better reflect the shrinking public markets. But the risk also includes higher fees, illiquidity, you can't get out of it sometimes because there's nobody to buy, and legal liability for plan administrators. I think the legal liability can definitely be, you can get around it if Congress passes legislation that protects them from legal liability. Asset managers see this as a gold rush. Institutional investors like pensions, pension funds, et cetera, apparently are tapped out on private equity, making these 401ks the next growth frontier. Firms, Joey, are eager to tap into the millions and millions of retail retirement accounts for fresh capital inflow.
Yeah, I think it's good, right? You want to be able to diversify, and if you want to put your pension money on what you want, then sure enough, why can't it be ETHA or Bitcoin or anything along those lines? So, yeah, I think it's a good step. And one thing that you were touching on earlier as well, too, Sharif, is you're looking for Mark Carney to kind of start to step in that direction as well, too. Well, look at the effect of what the Bitcoin Reserve had on the overall space. Country after country started to do the exact same thing, and I think we're going to see that as well, too, right? If you want to have the ability to put these vehicles into your pension fund, then why not? Do it at your own risk, right?
I agree. Adara, how do you feel about this whole thing over here? Would you want to see it on this side of the border as well?
I mean, personally, like, I'm not involved in crypto, and it's not because I have any issues with it. It's just something I haven't done enough time to really research. That being said, yeah, I mean, I think I have no issue with it being on this side of the border. I believe for all people, if you want to invest in something, why can't you invest in it? I do get the risk of it. I understand what people are concerned about, especially from a retirement perspective. Like, you're not working, you're not really going to be able to make the money back if you incur a large loss, but there are risks to every investment, right? So I think if you make the people who are putting their money into the pension funds or retirement funds, I think if you make them aware, here are the risks, here are the benefits, especially as, people are getting older. At a certain point, we're going to get to the point where people who are, came up around crypto and like they're 30s, 40s, they're going to be retiring at some point. And so then they're going to have grown up with a better acknowledgement and a better understanding. And then at that point, why wouldn't, I don't know. It's just, I get
exactly. And let's be fair, too. People have access more now to information, whereas in the past you could make the argument they didn't really, right? It was like a black box. Now it's a little bit more, see-through.
I agree.
All right, let's go on to the next topic over here. Joey, Firefly. Well, here is the price action. We'll show you guys that. It's right at VWAP, 67.50. It did halt once up. The high of the day, 73.80 currently. FLY on the NQ. And here's what we were talking about. The price of the IPO, excuse me, I kept saying 43. I was incorrect. It's 45. But the prior range was 41 to 43. It raised about 886 million, giving it a valuation of around 6.3 billion. But that's at that $45 a share, not at the 67 that you're going to have to adjust for that. Begins trading today, obviously under FLY. It's one of the largest space tech IPOs of the year. Obviously, there's growing momentum following, the Blue Origin launch, as well as SpaceX, obviously catching a lot of traction now. Some other space IPOs this year include Voyager Technology and Carmen Holdings. But there's obviously a broader IPO window with like the Figma, CoreWeave, Circle, etc. And Firefly, just to give you an idea of their business model, they build rockets, lunar landers, and other space tech. Recently, they won about a $177 million contract with NASA for lunar missions. They successfully landed its Blue Ghost lunar lander earlier this year on the moon. And they've worked with the likes of Lockheed Martin, L3 Harris, Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman actually dropped $50 million into Firefly earlier this year, so they have a vested financial interest. And they've got strong ties to the Defense Department, Joey, and government projects, so that helps, de-risk the revenue flow as well. And here's how they did in their finances. Their Q1 revenue jumped 6 times year over year, up about a little bit lower than 56 million. That's up from 8.3 million the year prior, but they're continuing to lose money, which makes sense because they're still a tech startup. Lost about $60.1 million, growing at the growing loss, that is 52.8 was the first year. But Joey, they've got a $1.1 billion backlog in orders. So they got clear demand there.
There's good, yeah. I was just about to say there, the demand is good. That's exactly what you want to see. So you have that backlog. I think that's something positive for the name. As from a technical standpoint, it just came out today. So there isn't enough data into what the street truly feels the value of it's at. So you got to be patient, wait and see. And for me personally, that's going to take some time in order to collect some data. That's why I very rarely would invest in an IPO until further dated. If you go back in the history books, even great companies, they move higher on the IPO and then they give back the majority of the move. I remember for a while the narrative was short the IPOs after the initial pop. It's the same thing here. I'm not going to say short Firefly. Obviously, that's not the case. But you want to have enough data backing and what the street thinks the true value is in the underlying asset.
Adira, what's your look?
I want to mention here first that we actually have some members from the Trump administration trying to make it pretty clear their opinion on Fed's WALR. I mentioned earlier there are now reports that he's in the front running for the potential Fed chair position, to the point where he's even met with members of Trump's team, though not Trump himself. Now we have the leader of the CEA by the name of Moran. He went on Bloomberg television and he just said, quote, Fed's WALR hasn't succumbed to tariff derangement syndrome. So the Trump administration is clearly trying to make a push here, at least from a narrative perspective, for Fed's WALR maybe taking that top spot. Now, with regards to FLY, you could argue higher highs, higher lows. You could also argue this is really volatile. I watched the tape on this off the open, and like Ashton said, it was not tradable. Just when it looked like it would pick a direction, it would pick the opposite direction. So it's not something I would be involved with. And I got a LU order set up for this, and I decided not to take it because it's very hard to know what to do with something like this, right? How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you solve a problem like the Firefly IPO? Today, I will say this got burned, Sharif, and I'm looking forward to the bullish IPO next week, BLSH. I think that could be a little bit more interesting. I like the story. I like the Peter Thiel involvement. That, based on if the imbalances sort out, that's the thing I'm more likely to get involved in. This thing never really took off the ground.
All right, Dara, just remember to hit that bad.
The whole time.
Yeah, I can't hear you, so I guess it's turned off again.
I heard her.
Yeah, so maybe it's mine then. I don't have no idea what the hell mine is. Say it again. Okay. All right, let's talk about Celsius. Here we go. Soars on Q2 beat on a net Alani Nu boost. Dara is very pumped about this. Let's talk about the revenue, about $740 million, just shy of that in revenue, easily beating the 651 expected by the street. That's 84% year-over-year growth on that top line number, with adjusted EPS and gross profit both beating the consensus at $380.9 million. The results here really reflect strong momentum in energy drinks and benefits, again, from the Alani Nu acquisition that they had. and their growth outlook. What's their move here? They plan to increase marketing spend in the second half of this year to kind of capture more market share, so possibly an even bigger top line number by the end of the year. And they're also focused on long-term branding with disciplined execution. We'll have to see how that goes. The Alani Nu acquisition contributed about a little more than $300 million to that top line number to revenue, with surging demand really for zero sugar functional drinks, really driving that broad category growth. And the channel expansion, Joey, they're also looking at getting into retail, helped lift the market share and the visibility of the stock. So not too bad.
No, not too horrible here, Sharif. I'm trying to go back to when this thing first IPO'd. It was a while ago. Wow, I didn't even know this name was that old, to be honest with you, Celsius Holdings. But yeah, sure enough, if we want to zoom in and see what we got going on from a daily, this is the previous all-time high that it made in May of 2024, and you're currently trading around 57% off of that specific level, so just keep that in mind as well. But one thing to note is you are punching through some key resistance zones, and that's something positive. But in the likes, and I don't want to compare apples to oranges, but just look at this from a technical standpoint and all the other previous earnings from this quarter. Look what they've all done.
What?
Right? So Microsoft, you get that big gap up and then eventually fills the gap as well too, right? So just keep that in mind. CELCH, this is a big time inverted hammer candle. Even though you do have this doji at the lows, just keep an eye out just in case you breach through this support level and it completely fills this gap to the downside there, guys.
All right, Adara, we know your affinity for Alani Nu. What's your look on Celsius? What's the look here?
Okay, formerly affinity. Also, I don't know if I'm able to press these buttons at the same time.
Oh, I'm good. I can hear it. I can hear it. I had to turn it on mine. It was my bad.
Okay. Oh, good. So CELH. I
can't hear.
Yeah, this chart looks rough, and I've noticed there's been as kind of mentioned there by Joe, there's been a weird pattern of some of these gappers just kind of selling off the open, and that's not all of them. Duolingo, which I don't know if that's on your list. I forgot to check, but DUO, I mean, you'll be happy, Sharif. Look at that chart now. I'm really sad I missed this. The thing just dropped like $40.
Good.
So some of these gappers are making, they're kind of popping up and then just dropping at the open. So yeah, I mean, this earnings season in terms of reaction has been odd. Alani Nu, I understand. To be clear, and I'm no longer drinking energy drinks. I will drink the occasional. I've already mentioned this. Natural.
I forgot. I didn't hear it. Either I forgot or I didn't hear it.
Natural energy drinks that I will do, like natural caffeine. We talked about that because I still drink matcha as well. But yeah, I've not been doing that. So in my former life, I did enjoy Alani Nu. Alani Nu is solid. Get it at Alani Nu, 129% year over year.
Your former life.
I know Ramina's a fan of this one as well, so get it. Ramin.
Yeah, we don't have to mention Ram though.
Well, we can. Yeah. But yeah, I think regardless, that $50 hold on CELH looking pretty tasty. And yeah, we're gonna have to see if it can turn it up a degree and bounce off that 50 because right now it is a great look. I do not have my CELH chart up right now in terms of like my trading view, so I can't really look at the AVWAP. I would wonder if there's an AVWAP there because the way this is holding is really spicy.
Very interesting. Thank you, Adara, for that. Yeah, Neil, I don't like Duolingo for a specific reason. I said I'd talk about this on the midday, so I will talk about it now. What they did, Neil, was they decided, the Mandarin course is what it is. We don't like it anymore. We're going to change it overnight. And we're going to even not just change the courses going forward. No. If you've completed lessons, we're going to go back and change those lessons and add new words and new phrases into lessons that you've already completed, so when you go back to review them, you have no idea what the hell is going on. I'm not the only angry person. There's people all over the internet that are furious about this, and what adds insult to injury is the company refuses to address it whatsoever. They're not even saying anything. Oh, hey, we changed it. Oh, here's the explanation. So if you're doing up to this lesson, here's how you kind of adjust. No, there was nothing, no information given. We're just supposed to go on with our life and no problem there. So what I had to do, Neil, was I had to start that bad boy over from the beginning. So I was lucky to have screenshotted all the new words that I was learning along the way so that I could review them offline. If I hadn't have done that, I would have lost all the words that are no longer in the curriculum, which they removed for no reason. So that's my beef with Duolingo, Joey.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So revenue, $252 million, up 41% year over year, beating analyst estimates of up 241 million. Earnings per share, EPS, 91 cents versus estimates, 57%. Positive surprise net income, 48. are 44.8 million, up 84% from a year ago. Subscription revenue up 46% year over year, contributing to record profitability and signing robust uptake to higher value subscription. Sharif, we can't deny these numbers. They're fantastic numbers.
I'm not going to argue about that at all.
Yeah, they're
Clearly people are
numbers.
doing this. And you know, I've already talked to, we're going to go to Darren in a sec. Joseph, the software is designed to teach you as little as possible, but to use it as much as possible.
Absolutely.
I hate that.
So,
as a learner,
okay,
not as
so also
a shareholder.
Listen, Louis Von Ann highlighted outperformance in bookings, engagement, and new initiatives like the Energy Machine and Chess Course. So they're more or less worried about, they're not worried about teaching you, but just engaging into the platform itself.
If you're a shareholder, you're very happy.
Very, very happy.
You're generating revenue.
As a specific user, you're not in love with it. But as to your performance, how you just mentioned the fact that, hey, they just want you on the app using it, scrolling, kind of like that doom scrolling, right? They have that chess course and everything, emphasizing the company's product-led growth and a belief that the user growth is still in the early innings. But there you go. To keep users engaged, they're putting new things on there that you can learn: the math, the chess, the energy, etc. Right?
I don't want any of that. I just want math. You love chess.
I like the chess. Yeah.
Dara, you got something for us?
I do, yeah. So CORZ, right, visually popping, then dropping. Financial Times reporting that apparently a big investor, though it doesn't say who, is threatening a proxy fight over CoreWeave's deal for Core Scientific. CORZ, Core Scientific, dropping on this news. Now, I want to take a look here at Duolingo. Duolingo, guys, there is actually a catalyst for this drop, and I just found out what it is. As I mentioned yesterday, OpenAI, I guess, was having an event at 1 p.m. I never saw the link to watch this event, but apparently the algos are watching this event, guys, because I guess OpenAI unveiled a new language teaching feature during their event. Language teaching, kind of the exact thing that Duolingo does. So that's why DUOL dropped so much. I'm very sad I missed this short because Duolingo is a spready one. But alas, congrats to anyone who caught that short. Congrats to anyone who caught the long yesterday. Honestly, this is one of the few earnings plays where you really could have had it either direction and done really well. So yeah, shout out to everyone who's trading Duolingo. And I guess Sharif will not be shouting out Duolingo here. So yeah, there you go.
But Joey's got more information on it.
On DraftKings?
Oh, you want to do DraftKings?
Yeah, I was going to say DraftKings, or you were talking about something else.
Oh, I thought you had information on Duo. Yeah, do DraftKings.
We got everything on Duolingo. We went over the important facts. I showed you one that was good here earlier, Sharif,
yes, sir.
Which I think is really important. So we talked about this not too long ago. Daily active users neared 48 million, up from 34 million year over year, and paid subscribers grew substantially, evidencing the stickiness of Duolingo's offerings. All right, so just keep that in mind. We'll hop on to DraftKings because I know a lot of people are involved in sports gambling, etc. So I think this is going to be really positive, and I think it's good for this company as well as more states start to adopt online gambling. All right, so revenue 1.5 billion, up 37% year over year, with the 1.1 billion estimate in Q2 of 2024. The consensus estimates of 1.43 billion, nearly by 6%. The net income came in at 158 million, revised a $32 million net loss from the same period last year. So that is big time. Earnings per share came in from 30 to 38 cents. Reported figure very slightly by source. Misconsensus estimates of 41 cents. Earnings surprise of negative 7.3%. Adjusted EBITDA 301 million, up from 128 million year over year. A new record for the company. Monthly unique players, MUPs, 3.3 million, up 6% year over year, and average revenue per MUP, ARPMUP, 151, up 29% year over year. All right, so key business drivers. Customers, engagement, strong growth in relations, acquisitions, and engagements drove results. MUPs and ARPMUPs both rose sharply, showing the benefit of new product launches and the new integration of Jackpot. Sportsbook performance, really positive here. Higher structural hold and favorable betting outcomes in the quarter. Geographic expansion, continued growth with DraftKings now live in 25 states plus DC, anticipating a launch in Missouri. iGaming Products presents its 5 states and Ontario. We love the gambling over here, obviously. Share buyback repurchased 6.5 million shares in the first half of 2025. So it's always good when a company is buying back shares.
All right, so here's the deal. Here's my look on DraftKings. What I see a lot from state-specific governments is the increasing of tax payable by the sports betting companies on their earnings. And we saw it with Ohio. I anticipate you'll see that likely in other states as balance sheets become tight and they're looking to generate new money. So I feel that that is a headwind for margins, likely going to cause margin compression, whether or not they pass that back off to the consumer in the form of less promotions or worse odds, whatever it's going to be. There's a headwind for this business. But obviously, as Joseph mentioned, great numbers year over year as more people get into it. What I like to see, Joey, I don't know how you feel. I don't even know if this is available because I don't use any of these sports betting apps. The what we're calling on our platform here, the forecast trader, to be able to bet on events or events trading.
Event contracts.
Thank you. Yeah. So, you know, what color shoe is Lionel Messi going to come out and wear on this game or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think they'll definitely get into that realm because I remember I was looking.
Expansion, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously customer expansion as well too. So I think eventually they will get into these event contracts, which is funny to me. But one thing that I did see is that I mentioned this to a while ago is you can bet on things like when is the LRT going to open.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely which is absolutely insane. Okay. But by all means, if you have more of those on your platform, I think you have the chance to continue to grow like we're seeing. And also from a state-by-state standpoint, you're starting to see more of them.
A lot more legalization and adoption state by state, and a lot more taxes too, which is the point that I was making. Derek, give us the goods or your opinion, please, on Donkey Kong Draftkings.
Yeah, a lot of what you said is what I was going to cover, just these taxes here on a statewide basis. I know Illinois is like pretty intense with it. They're very proud of the fact that they did it. Governor J.B. Pritzker there, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, I think that is certainly of note. The other thing I would mention is I was seeing apparently some people have been kind of reporting that the company is looking to actually acquire some of these prediction-related assets. So instead of doing the prediction market themselves, they're just going to acquire someone who already does it. I actually think that's a good look because that way you don't have to worry about the business on your own. You have it. It's already a business that exists that you're scooping up. We know Robinhood is actually, I mean, not like that they're necessarily a competitor with DraftKings, but, you know, both in that kind of, I guess, dabbling with a prediction market-based company. Anyways, Robinhood, we know, has done some acquisitions lately, like WonderFi. That's gone well. I think DraftKings, if they do decide to go the event prediction route, I actually think that the acquisition would be a good way to do it.
Thanks for that, Jeff.
Prediction is such a crazy term. I don't know. I think it is what it is, right? Yeah. Event prediction, it's just another form of gambling. Hey, does our thing have the event contracts?
Oh, yeah. It keeps pumping it to me every day. It keeps trying to force me to
Can we pull them up quick?
Let's just finish, let's finish the news because, well, actually, we have some time. I think we're good.
Let's see if we can pull up an event contract
well, it keeps trying to pump it on me, so let's do it right now. We'll do it live. We're not sponsored by these people, obviously, as you know, so we have nothing to gain. Here, look, it's trying to get me to do it. Add tab, IBKR forecast trader, add tab. Doesn't add it. All right, you're an idiot.
Okay, so that's it. Yeah, that was short-lived.
Yeah, sorry. We'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk PTON, Joey. Not a bad report at all from Peloton. 5 pennies per share. The street was actually expecting a loss per share, so it was a surprise earnings win there. 6 pennies loss per share the street was looking for on revenue of $607 million. Again, easily beating on the top and bottom line, with the street only really looking for $580 million. However, even though they beat, they still down 6% year over year on that top line number. They're making less in revenue this year. You don't want to see that, obviously, if you're an investor, but they are able to shore up costs. And how is that proved? By the fact that they actually were profitable. They took about $21.5 million in income profit this year after losing $30.5 million last year, the same time, even though they had a higher top line number, a bigger top line number. And here's another reason why gross margins improved to 54.1%, up from the 48.5. Like, this company sells physical products as well as subscription, so their margins are somewhere in between. Usually for physical products, we have like high 30s, low 40s. Gross margins for subscriptions and SaaS and software and all that stuff, you have like 70, 80% gross margins, so a happy median there at 54.1%. And a lot of the reason that they actually made money was a cost cutting. The new CEO really putting his foot down. Peloton plans on cutting another $100 million in run rate expenses for full year 2026. Sadly, they will be laying off about 6% of their workforce to reduce that indirect spend, and they're going to add about $200 million in cuts that were already made to in full year 2025. Now, let's talk about their return to retail, because they kind of left that for a little bit, shutting down a lot of their showrooms. They did here in Canada. They had bigger showrooms that they shut down, and they're planning on re-entering that physical retail space with 10 micro stores. They're calling it. They're not going to do large showrooms this time. They're also investing, Joey, in pre-owned hardware sales. So we kind of saw them do this earlier where they were selling you a used Peloton bike for like a 10% off discount when you could go on Facebook Marketplace and buy it for 75% off. So that didn't work out for them. Let's see if they do it better this time around. They're also increasing in-person instructor appearances to about 3 times a year to kind of build on their network there. Now, they're also going to create a deal with Precor. So anybody who hits the gym, you know Precor, they make treadmills and ellipticals and stuff like that. They got a good supply chain in Asia, and apparently Peloton looking at doing business with them. Here's what they're guiding, Joey. They're guiding full year 2026 guidance, 2.4 to 2.5 billion. That was in line with expectations. Their current quarter guide, they're guiding 525 to 545. That's below the street's expectations, so it's a guidance miss for the current quarter, with free cash flow coming in for full year 2025 at around 320 million. That beat, Joey. We'll talk a little bit about their segment performance in a second.
All right, new traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data. Global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description, guys.
All right, let's talk about their connected
okay,
fitness here, Joey. A couple of last things. So their connected fitness hardware revenue, about $200 million versus the 170 expected, with subscription revenue far higher, $408 million, but that actually was a little late. The street wanted $411 million there. That's what I was talking about, hardware, software, or not software, but subscriptions here. Subscriptions bringing in double what their hardware is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. This is when you peak. I mean, it sucks to peak early maybe in life, but sometimes it is what it is. So you're down almost 100%. This is giving me Aurora Cannabis kind of vibes here. Will this stock ever recover? I don't know.
Pandemic highs are crazy.
Crazy. Just extremely overvalued. Yeah, man. Like, honestly, Sharif, I don't know what to say. This is from a weekly standpoint. Will this stock ever recover? I don't think so. Some people are just comparing it to an iPad on a bike, a stationary bike. For me personally, Peloton is just not an investable vehicle for me personally. The subscriptions are great. If they can continue to grow the subs, I think that can add a little tailwinds to this. But other than that, as for a full-blown recovery, I think it's dead money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's the one name that continuously splits? MLGO, right?
MLGO.
Is it MLGO?
There's, what's the other one? The EV one that we always trade?
It's not Lee, is it?
No, that other one. I forgot.
Mullen.
Thank you.
Mullen,
Thank
yes,
you,
Mullen.
brother.
Mullen, thank you for that. Yeah, so I think that this is what is kind of giving me that kind of vibes. I don't think this name will ever recover. So it's just, hey, how do we stay listed at this point, to be honest with you?
Adara, are you cycling into Peloton over here, or what's going on over there?
Good one. Yeah, I don't think I will.
You don't look like you enjoyed that at all.
That was a good pop. I did a good one. I liked it. It was a good one. But I'm pressing it. Oh, I think it's weird. It's hard to do both at the same time because I have to like use a weird thumb dexterity I don't possess. I will mention here, though, Peter Stern has really done wonders for the company. This is as of May 12th, 2025. But since Barry McCarthy exited the company, Peloton stock as of May 12th, 2025 was up 83, almost 84%. So Peter Stern came in, I think, a little bit later. But either way, he's done well for the company. Either that or investors really just didn't like Barry McCarthy. But good look there for Peloton. I think that Precor partnership that you mentioned this morning with regards to treadmills, I think is a really, really good look. That's a good brand. That's a well-known brand. Yeah, I think honestly, Peloton, this stock might be a done deal. The company might be a done deal. What I thought was interesting there in your note, Sharif, is that they said that they're expecting lighter sales this quarter because of seasonal slowdown in the summer. I don't know why people aren't buying treadmills in the summer. I wonder about the seasonality. I have lots of questions. But other than that, I don't have much to say except for good luck, Peloton.
You know, my cousin uses it as a coat hanger, Adara.
Yeah, well, that's what it's
It's very expensive.
I don't think they're alone in that. I think a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah,
It's a good laundry basket. But as for the summertime, Adara, people want to be outside in the summer, right?
Yeah,
like you run outside in the summer. You don't want to be.
Whether or not they're purchasing treadmills, you don't purchase a treadmill just for 3 months, Joe.
No.
I thought about that, but then I realized that makes no sense.
What do you mean? If for a long-term duration, yeah. Well, this is Canada, right? So you're in there for 4 months, and if you can use it for multiple years, if you know every year you're going to be stuck inside, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't, like, guys, I'm not saying you can't run outside during the summer. That's all good and fine. But why does it matter when you buy the treadmill? It's not like the treadmill goes away in a month. It doesn't, like.
But Adara,
it doesn't run away.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. You're absolutely right on that. But, like, for example, convertibles, they're usable, right, all year round. Adara, people seem to buy them into the spring. I don't know. It's just what they do.
When you put it like that, it makes yeah.
Right?
All right, let's go on to the next topic over here. What else we got? Restaurant brands. Mixed report here, Joey. Strong international sales, but weak Popeyes. That's what the headline reads. The revenue there. Popeyes got your attention there? Okay.
Well, like supplements, not the chicken.
No, I think they mean Popeyes.
Yeah, but like Popeye. Yeah, like Popeye. Yeah.
I think Popeyes, the supplements only is in Canada.
Is it only? It's not American.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not sure. Anyway, EPS 94 pennies, that missed the 97 pennies expected by the street on revenue of 2.41 billion. That was ahead of the 2.32 billion expected and a 16% increase on their last year on the quarter revenue. Net income, they're profitable, a little bit less than 200 million, $189 million in take-home money, but that is less than what they took home last year, which was 280 million. It was impacted, according to the company, by acquisition-related costs. Revenue beat obviously reflects strong international and Tim Hortons performance. All right, get it, Tims. Here's what they did, though. Let's talk about their different segments. Overall, they saw a 2.4% increase driven by international, and as I mentioned, Tim Hortons strength. International sales as well, 4.2% remains resilient. Tim Hortons was up 3.4%. That's over 40% of their revenue comes from Timmy's. Shout out to Timmy's, man. Burger King only up 1.3%, with the U.S. Burger King, that is, sales up 1.5%. Still in turnaround mode, the company says, with Popeyes 1.4%. The only segment, Joey, in decline. They lost 1.4%, revenue on Popeyes. Now, what are they guiding here for CapEx as well as their growth? They're saying they're going to spend about $400 to $450 million in CapEx for the rest of the year. It's going to be in tenant inducements and incentives, and their long-term outlook is unchanged. You're still looking at 3% average same-store sales with 8% organic adjusted operating income CAGR. CAGR stands for compounding annual growth rate. Adara has breaking news.
I do, and I have a couple pieces. We'll start with RX. Recursion, moving on this catalyst. It's not specific to Recursion, though. Axios reporting that Senator Todd Young is apparently preparing an AI and biotech bill package. So I guess a good look here for some of these biotech plays. Recursion, moving on this, I also want to mention really quickly, Microsoft apparently making an announcement here as well. MSFT announcing that they're going to be incorporating OpenAI's GPT-5 into their consumer developer and enterprise offerings. Good look there. Back to you.
All right, so with respect to this turnaround that they're talking about for Burger King, so apparently the turnaround efforts are ongoing, but the improvement is slow. Popeye remains a weak spot, requiring operational fixes, the company says, and international growth, as well as Tim Hortons continue to really drive that top-line momentum. Joey, you never really want to see a company rely on any one segment for its growth, but this kind of seems like that's the case here.
Yeah, well, to add to the example that you gave yesterday with SMCI, 63% of its accounts receivable came from 2 companies, and you don't necessarily want that to be the case here as well. But the GLPs definitely have a play into that Popeyes growth as well. I think for me personally, it's not good food. Who's kidding who? Obviously, it's tasty, but if people are trying to lose weight, Popeyes is not your way to go. Neither is Burger King, in my opinion. So.
I get that. I like it. Adira's laughing up a storm there with Ram, who is making fun of Timmy C, which I don't like. I'm playing. I'm just looking to beef anybody at the moment. Let's go on and talk about Airbnb, an important report here, Joey. Earnings per share for Airbnb, nicely beating expectations, $1.03. The street wanted 94 pennies on net income of $642 million. So closing in on that $750,000 profit. And it's up nicely here, Joseph, almost $100 million more in net profit on the quarter than they printed last year. Last year was $555 million on revenue of $3.1 billion, again ahead of the street's estimate of $3.03 billion and a 13% year-over-year increase on that top line number. The growth, according to the company, was driven by an increase in the night stayed. Easter timing as well helped things being a little bit later, and a slightly higher average daily rate. So a little bit of inflation helped grow that top line number. But margins apparently are under pressure. And in fact, the company is warning that margins will be lower in Q3 and Q4 of this year. So the second half of full year 2025, due to what they're saying is new investments in business lines. So we'll have to see how that all works out. They also have growth in focus here, and they're planning on spending $200 million on new experiences and services, such as tours and classes. So expect more products to be offered in the app. So not a bad look there as they look to expand their moat. The CFO says these segments won't generate near-term revenue, but they are part of the company's longer-term strategy, with the focus really remaining on scaling the core platform while testing new offerings. You got to like that. Now let's talk about the guide. They're guiding revenue here of $4.02 to $4.1 billion. Slightly softer than that 4.05 estimate, with gross bookings expected to come in at $23.5 billion, ahead of that 22.67 expected by the street. And here's how they're doing geographically, Joey. North American demand improved monthly throughout Q2. Canada, though, specifically, Canada to U.S. travel remains weak. But Canadians are continuing to travel, just not to the United States. They're going more international trips, it looks like, over here. The Caribbean specifically, from what I read. Look, again, there is that backlash, as we've expressed to you guys multiple times, with the tariff war between Canada and the United States, and it's put off a lot of people on this country. There's a big push to buy Canada, spend Canada. I don't happen to subscribe to that, but that is a fact. Overall trend, travel demand remains resilient, though, Joey, the company
Absolutely.
says.
Just to add to your buy Canada, spend Canada, at the end of the day, it's super expensive for us to travel domestically, which I think is insane. But Sharif, as for Airbnb, this is what I was talking about earlier about IPO. So this IPO'd 4 years ago, and it still hasn't even got anywhere relatively close to where that high has been established a couple weeks after the IPO. Now, for bookings, one thing that I've noted, and I noticed that a lot of my friends, when you go onto the Airbnb app and you're looking to book something, a lot of people just go directly to the individual who is listing that unit or whatever it may be, that house that you're saying. So there's a way around paying all those Airbnb fees, but you're still seeing some good growth within this company. You just want to see a little bit more sustained and more continued growth, and maybe that'll pick up once tensions between the Canadians and the Americans, if there is any, personally I don't have any, start to cool off and this tariff talk starts to cool down as well too.
Adara, what's your look on some of these numbers here? I mean, like, it was kind of a mixed bag. There was a couple of good things, but you know, they complain about margins and whatever else. What's your look?
I found it so weird how they're pivoting towards experiences or whatever. Like, they're like, oh, we're going to have, I don't know, why are you doing that? The fact that their nights and experiences books were actually below estimates, though, as I was seeing, that's pretty interesting.
Yep.
I mean, clearly the market doesn't like it. We're at day's lows. I also want to say here, Sharif, this is not related to Airbnb, but I do have some news. Go. Apparently, so Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, he announced on X that who is owned by a certain individual we'll get to in a minute. We do have Satya Nadella basically announcing how GPT-5 is launching across Microsoft's platforms, right?
Yep.
Well, Elon Musk, owner of X, as I mentioned earlier, and CEO of Tesla, responds with this phrase. And he responds to Satya. OpenAI is going to eat Microsoft alive. So keep an eye on
He's trying to create a beef.
Yes.
You know he hates Altman.
We know he's not a fan of Sam Altman.
He hates Altman.
He actively hates him.
Bang.
So yeah, weird look, weird catalyst. I don't have much more to say about Airbnb. Truthfully, I was more excited about the Satya Nadella thing.
I like that headline. Thank you for sharing that, Adair. Anything Elon related always has time here on the midday. Let's go on to Datadog. Surges on AI demand and a strong outlook. Let's talk about their numbers here, Joey. Q2 revenue came in at $827 million, well ahead of the $791.1 expected on this by the street. So an easy top line number beat. It was a beat on the bottom line as well, with 46 pennies per share coming in for EPS ahead of the 42, demonstrating strong margin control. Shares jumped 10% here in the pre-market on bullish guidance and the Q2 beat. Let's talk about that guidance. So their Q3 guide going to be 847 to 851 million. That is ahead of the 819, basically 820 expected by the street. EPS likely to come in, the company says, at 44 to 46 pennies, beating the 42 pennies expected by the street there, Joey. Here's why they're making money. They're saying they're seeing a surge in enterprise AI and cloud investments, which is fueling demand for their platform. Clients like Samsung, Nasdaq, Comcast are all using Datadog to monitor and secure cloud infrastructures. They also say they have 125 new innovations launched to enhance what they're calling real-time analytics and cloud observability. They also have a broader migration to cloud, Joey, than they had anticipated, which is driving kind of the need for that performance, the reliability, the security monitoring, everything that comes with cloud and AI.
Yeah, I think it's a good look in the long run, to be honest with you, just because it wasn't, the street isn't perceiving it too well. Just that cloud security, I think just in the direction that we're moving, you can see the cloud growth amongst all of the big three names. I'm talking Google, AWS, and Azure. It has to be secure at the end of the day. So it may not look too good right now, currently, but I think in the long run, Datadog would just be just fine. And speaking of off of those April lows to where we're currently trading at, you're still up 60%. At the end of the day, you did fail to break through this previous high on this report, which the expected move would have brought you to that level there, Sharif, as well. You're down 21%, but at the end of the day, I think Datadog is going to be okay considering cloud growth across the planet, I guess.
Adara, is this company barking up the wrong tree, or what's going on up there? All right, Dare.
Take a different tack on this as I usually do, and I'm not trying to be ever against anyone. I always like to play devil's advocate and look at things a bit differently. Datadog is honestly, in my opinion, it was still kind of a weird addition to the S&P 500. This one, much like XYZ, which is reporting tonight, or XYZ for the Americans out there, both were kind of seen as like odd, choices to add to the SPY as opposed to Robinhood, AppLovin, right? So I think, and the stock performance for Datadog has not been super inspiring either. We were sort of in an uptrend. We got pushed way up when we got the S&P edition, came all the way back down, continued the uptrend, gapped down. I don't know quite why we gapped down to that day in July. I guess it was about a week ago. Then today we actually gap up and then do a bearish engulfing candle. This was rough technically. And I honestly think for that, regardless of the earnings, Datadog might need a little bit more weakness. Even if you look at the daily, there's clear lower highs. You got like 156, 152, now like 149. I don't love it here. I think it might be barking up the wrong tree, but we'll find out.
All right, I like it. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty now. We're going to talk Intel. We're going to talk about the CEO, my friend Lip Bu. And there's accusations being made. You guys decide what to make of the story. We're going to give you the facts. You guys make the decisions. Let's get to it, Joey. Lip Bu Tan. He is Intel's new CEO after Patty G got the boot. Patty Gelsinger we're talking about. Well, he's under scrutiny today due to what is being called deep venture and boardroom ties to over 600 Chinese tech firms, all between the years of 2012 to 2024. Apparently, his firm, Walden International, invested about $200 million up to $2.2 billion. So we're getting a gnarly range there of $2 billion in Chinese startups, including at least 8 firms of which had alleged PLA ties. Okay, so what do we got here? People's Liberation Army is what that stands for, okay? Tan did partner with China Everbright Limited and other state-backed groups and semiconductor-focused funds. Again, some of those companies were tied to PLA-linked firms. Some of these partners were later added to the U.S. entities list. So that's the list that the intelligence agencies updates and gives to the, I think, the Commerce Department, that is, and then they block or they limit the sale or dealings with that company on national security grounds. And Cadence, this was a company that he was a former CEO of. So Cadence Design Systems, which Tan led the company during the illegal tech export to a Chinese military university, and Phythium Technology, which is a sanctioned PLA-linked chip maker. So Cadence actually pled guilty to that and paid fines, deepening obviously the concerns about oversight and compliance during Tan's leadership of that company. Cadence Design Systems was the name of the company. Ongoing issues despite the Intel appointment. So as of 2025, your boy Lip-Bu still held leadership roles or ownership stakes in dozens of Chinese firms, according to public records, Joey. And then you had Senator Tom Cotton pounding the table yesterday, as well as others demanding explanations from Intel's board, citing risk to taxpayer-funded tech projects. Let's not forget, Intel is the recipient of a lot of money from the CHIPS Act.
Yeah, from the CHIPS Act.
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
public money in here. It's not just a private company.
I mean, this guy doesn't even have 2 full quarters under his belt, I'm pretty sure, no? So it's just like, you already want to oust them, but Intel's in trouble, and I mentioned this before, you want to see some positive quarters before you look to get involved in this. Katina Man brought this up, you're at the same level since 1980-something. For me personally, I don't think it matters really who's behind or who the CEO is. It's irrelevant until you start to see some growth within this company. For me personally, INTC is not the way to go if you want chip exposure, that's for sure.
All right, Adara, I know you were doing some deep dives, so I know you're going to come with some fire. What's your boy Lip-Bu doing?
Okay, so I found some really cool information on this. So this individual on X, this is also just a cool infographic. I'll get to that in a second. An individual on X by the name of Matthew Gertz, who works for Media Matters. I guess he's a fellow at Media Matters. He basically posted on X, I will say a little bit of interesting tea. So Trump posted his thing on True Social saying that Lip-Bu should leave the company. And keep in mind, he doesn't even say his name. He just says the CEO of Intel is highly conflicted, provides no information. Kind of a weird post, right? Posted at 7:39 a.m. Well, at 7:34 a.m., guess what was airing on Fox News? Maria Bartiromo was covering Senator Tom Cotton's take on this Intel situation. So the headline that you read on the screen provided basically as much detail as Trump did in his True Social post. And I'm not trying to be biased. If you guys do the research here, it is worth noting this is not the first time Trump has posted something on Truth minutes after Fox News has aired the same thing. And it's all in his post that he's more or less kind of quoting Fox. So that's all I have to say to that. There is precedent. Matthew Gertz, I want to give credit for pointing that out on X. Also, guys, it's really sad when interim CEOs David Zinsser and MJ Holthouse actually did better for the stock than its most recent CEOs. They actually brought the stock up 3.45% during their reign. Pat Gelsinger, negative 61% during his time, his very short time, like 4 years in that helm. And Lip-Bu Tan, it's gone down another 20% since he took control. So rough look. I'll go back to you guys.
Yeah, Katina Man just commenting about that. He's like, Patty G, yeah. Look, you know what Patty G was trying to do with Derek? He was trying to build out that foundry business. It's a CapEx heavy business. Lip-Bu's trying to drop that back a little bit. I wish Intel all the best. I really do. I have no hard feelings towards this company. I wish that they could kind of get off the schneid, so to speak. We'll see. But it really feels like, maybe their best days are behind them, being outtaken by NVIDIA and AMD. But who the hell knows, right? I'm not making any pronouncements on it. Let's talk about AppLovin, Joey, because they also beat expectations. So Q2 revenue for APP hit 1.28 billion. Guys, that's a 77% increase on that dang top line number. That is bigly, and that beat the consensus estimates of 1.22 billion there. Growth was fueled, Joey, by the shift towards ad tech segment after selling off their owned apps. The advertising adjusted EBITDA came in at 1.02 billion, up 99% year over year, and obviously topping Wall Street's expectations. Let's talk a little bit about their cash flow and their buybacks. It came in a little light. Cash flow, that is, at $768 million. That was a little bit below what the street wanted. But their share buybacks also dropped to $341 million, which was down from the $1.2 billion that they bought back in Q1. But that's okay. I mean, you don't always have to add. Or increase, share buybacks. You can distribute it equally among quarters for strategic reasons. The market reaction, though, it fell as much as 6.9%. The guidance for Q3 as well, the guidance for Q3 as well as the adjusted EBITDA came in above expectations, but the market appeared really to focus on the muted cash flow as well as the share buybacks. And here's the business model, Joey, in case people don't really know too much about them. They serve mobile app developers, mostly in gaming. They help drive installs and in-app monetization. They also have non-gaming revenue, which is, according to the company, ramping up quickly, expanding their TAM, their total addressable market. And the company's leveraging a two-sided platform model of performance-based ad services, Joey. So, you know, a company that you and I see often because I see it a lot in some of the Duolingo stuff that we're doing over there. But interesting look nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks pretty good here too, right? So you can see the April lows, not too bad, right? So you can take a look at, it's up over 100% off of those specific April lows. So we won't complain about those type of returns. So any given moment now, you can start to work. It doesn't want to do it today for some reason. So there it is. But I can tell you just from a low of $200 and you're now trading around 425. So that's a nice return. Intraday looks pretty good too. Potential bull flag being formed. Nice move to the top side. You do have this inverted hammer candle at the highs, but sure enough, boom, boom, you get this candle to the top side.
These guys. All right, Adara, what's I know we're a little overtime here, but App, I think, is a name that you look at sometimes because of the spread. Am I wrong?
This morning,
Okay.
I don't have the chart up, unfortunately, and I also did get out way too early, so that's a bummer because this went all the way up to 455. I think it got out around 414, so thumbs up to that. But you know what? You just get ready for the next day. I think APP right now is, as Joe mentioned, doesn't look like it really wants to go much further today. We're making lower highs now and lower lows on the 3-minute chart. This rally, though, at the open was crazy violent. It was memey. I've said this about AppLovin before, and I say this as someone who likes pretty stocks. This thing is on its own planet when it comes to how it moves. This is the only $300 stock I've seen halt intraday. So be very careful with it. Be aware of it. But you know, if you're patient and if you're working well with it, it can give you really good opportunities as well. So that's my look on App. Sorry, I focus more on the trading side.
No, you're good. We only have one more, Dara. We're going to do Quantum here with D-Wave reporting earnings. Here's the report, SSE. You know, we got about 8 cents per share, 8 cents per share Q2 loss. It was wider than the 5 pennies the street was looking for, at 5 penny loss, that is, though it did improve from their from last year on the quarter where they lost about 10 pennies per share. The miss here, the company says, is attributed to non-cash, non-operating charges tied to what they're calling the remeasuring warrant liabilities. You can do a bit of a deeper dive if you want to know more information about that. But the revenue, that top line number did jump 42% year over year, not eye-watering or anything, up to 3.1 million, but ahead, well ahead, in fact, of the 2.5 million expected by the street. Investors are focusing on profitability, though, for these type of companies, not that top line growth. I think that that's probably the wrong vision to take because Quantum is so nascent. You look for top line, not profitability. Profitability is when you're mature. So we'll see how, you know, these stocks react in the later part of the year. Despite posting earnings, D-Wave still trades above the 50-day moving average, or did at at the time of the writing of this article. And the shares have rallied, Joseph, 118% year to date, which is, you know, signaling maybe some profit taking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to understand that you have to be forward looking with these quantum names, and they're still CapEx heavy, right? They're spending a lot of money on research and development, so they're not there just yet. But if they're starting to turn a profit, that's something slightly positive. I have the numbers on IONQ as well too. So even though they recorded a bigger net loss compared to the previous quarter year over year, I mean, you have to stay forward looking with these names, and I think that you have the ability to take advantage of them in the near future, that's for sure, especially once they start to turn a profit.
All right. Adara, you want to chime in here on QBTS, or?
All I will say is I noticed that there's kind of a pattern where QBTS and RGTI of the stocks in this space tend to trade more in tandem. QUBT and IONQ tend to trade more in tandem. I did an infographic on this. You can check it out on X at TTV Research. I apologize, I don't have it up on the screen right now. But when I did the research for that, that's when I realized this. So yeah, interesting little thing to note. RGTI and QBTS pairs trade, QUBT, IONQ pairs trade. Maybe complete hogwash, but the last couple months we have noticed, I would say RGTI and Rigetti and D-Wave have had similar moves in terms of the direction and the speed, the intensity of the move, and then QQBT and IONQ the same thing. But take that with a grain of salt if you want. It's just one pattern I kind of noticed there.
All right, guys, it is, oh, you see that? We got 6 minutes in the bank there, eh? That's not too bad.
We'll take it.
All right, well, they gave us 25 minutes last time, though, but they were trading.
They gave us 25 minutes?
Remember, they went over 25 minutes with KO?
KO?
Kevin O'Leary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's fair.
Forget
That's
about
fair.
that or
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
man? I'm defending them here. Oh, boy. All right, guys, the big boys are that way. I'll see everybody shortly at the green screen. Make sure to vote, guys, and Joey and I will be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace.
Thank you, gentlemen.